Hey guys, welcome to the close. 2 hours to go in what has turned into another very negative trading session here as we head into the final 2 hours of the day, unless you're trading energy markets, because wow, huge move for crude oil back to 7-year highs. We got all the way up to almost 107. We'll talk about crude coming up here, but that's a look at where we are at current levels. For the equity markets, 1.7 for the S&P. Yeah, we're over 2% now to the downside for the Dow, 1.5 for the NASDAQ. Tech stocks look like they were trying to bounce at one point, but not much follow through. 0.75 here in Toronto to the downside. Brazil's closed for a holiday. 8.4% for crude oil. Unreal move. We'll look at the chart here coming up. Bitcoin and Ethereum benefiting very nicely as well from what has been a very busy day for stocks at this point. We'll jump over and show you the individual sectors as well for the market. Very bright red board to talk about this afternoon. Banks leading the way, as we said this morning, individual names, all of them basically in negative territory. Diversified financials, insurance companies, all under pressure. It's all about the defense stocks as well. If you're in the industrial group this afternoon, NOC, LHX, LMT leading the way as far as gainers. Everything else, CHRW reported everything else pretty much, though, in negative territory. There's Target, huge report for them, still up almost 11% on the day. The rest of the consumer discretionary group, very, very red, including all the travel names. There's the cruise lines, RCL, CCL, NCLH from 5.5 through 6.5%, even 9 there for RCL. To the downside, AMD, NVIDIA, Micron here, even the chip makers getting hit today. EPAM, we talked about that yesterday, got destroyed, trying to bounce a little today, up 6% for EPAM. Oxy, 7% still in positive territory. We'll talk about CVX as well, got to all-time highs today on this move in crude oil. You can see everything else, though, to the downside. So they're selling the oil producers. A bit of a mixed board the rest of the way through. We'll show you the NASDAQ here real quick. Once it refreshes, wait for it. There we go. Semiconductors leading the way. Some software names also to the downside. PayPal and Zoom specifically. The rest, though, showing a little bit of strength. Yeah, Baidu reported up 6% today for Baidu. So individual names showing a little bit of strength. We'll jump into what else is moving around. Welcome, guys. It is the close. We have 2 hours or less than 2 hours to go. If you're joining us for the first time, we take some time every afternoon about, say now, to go over some opportunities that we presented to you in the pre-market. Come back, join us in the pre-market at 8:30 every single day. We'll take you through everything you need to know heading into the open and get you ready for the open. We're going to talk a little bit about a few trades right now that were available to you. Sean's going to lead the way here with a look at one of his.
Heyo traders, yeah, welcome to the trade of the day, and today was a pretty exciting one. We had Coinbase written on our sticky note, but we were sort of looking for the long. But what happened to Coinbase? It actually popped like crazy. We talked about it yesterday that we would probably get a push on Bitcoin. So I have Bitcoin up here. The minute we broke through 40,000, I thought we'd get a push to this 44, 45. That's exactly what happened. And then in the AM, we talked about it pulling back down. So I immediately switched over my thinking. As you can see, this is 8 a.m., right? Makes the high of 44.5 or so, then makes a move to the downside, which actually starts at about 9:30, right, when the equity market opens up. But look what Coinbase does. Instead, Coinbase, obviously, with Bitcoin being up that 10% or so since the last time Coinbase traded, you see a nice little move to the upside. And what we were doing was just sort of lying in the weeds. We were waiting for a great opportunity. This is kind of like the trades that we made sort of on TDOC yesterday and again here today on Coinbase, where we wait for some consolidation because really we don't know if this is going to continue, but we do see that Bitcoin has come to the downside. So we're sort of playing Coinbase off of Bitcoin weakness, right? So we definitely knew we wanted to go short. We took this because we have a 206 top. So our short is a 205. So we're short here at 205, giving ourselves about $1 worth of risk. So what winds up happening, and it's going to look crazy because of the move to the downside, but we take our first piece out just sitting in front of 204. So we actually make about 50 to 70 cents or so on the first 20%. each one of these ticks is going to be 20% out, right? So we take the first bit. Does that make sense? 20, 40, yeah, 80, 90, 100. Okay, so the first 20% out there. Then it dips down and we get 203.50. So we make about $1.50. Then, as we're noticing here, Bitcoin coming to the downside and again starting to level off, but it doesn't really start to do anything till about 10 a.m. As you can see, this is 10 a.m. here. We take it out as it comes crashing below the 50 period of that time. And we're like, okay, that's a 200 print right now. So we'll take that $5. We'll wait in front of 200. Just like we go long on breaks through, we'll wait to see maybe 200's being supported. And it actually was. It bounced around a bit here before, see ya, it tanks pretty hard to the downside. We have about a $9 winner at this point. I think it was like $7.80 or so on the live show. And we're like, okay, I have no idea what to do. Is it going to keep on crashing? What's going to happen here with Bitcoin? And Bitcoin actually does continue to make a move down. This is 12 o'clock. Look at Bitcoin at 12 o'clock. Makes a bottom. So does Coinbase. The problem is I use the 50 period to get out. And unfortunately, it comes up, retest the 50 period right there at 199, and we take it out. But it's Coinbase. It's a nice winner. And unfortunately, we take it out there. Maybe next time, and I'm working on that last piece. Normally, you'll see me like out, like a robot. This time, we took 20% each time. It was a good trade for Coinbase, but we got to work on holding that. But again, you know, if the 50 period breaks and we go back up to the upside, then it's going to look silly that I didn't get out. So trying to stay disciplined here. It's Coinbase. For me, it's my most profitable stock today, and it is your trade of the day.
If you joined us in the pre-market, we were discussing the move in Bitcoin and crypto markets overnight. Huge move back higher. As a result, Coinbase benefiting from that. Gave you a lot of opportunities. We mentioned Mara, we mentioned Riot, we mentioned that backed BKKT, all of which were on the watch list. Guys, if you joined us at 8:30, including Coin, that is the link. Miss V will have that in the chat coming up here if you do want to get your hands on that. Absolutely free every single day. Keeping my eye here on DWAC still, chopping around this 95 area, trying to get back to, who knows, maybe 100 even this afternoon. I mean, we have the State of the Union coming up tonight from President Biden. Huge, huge volume print went off there. Sent this thing all the way up through 96. Trader Prad was discussing that, but a bit of a move for DWAC to kick things off here, guys.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an understatement, DWAC with a bit of a move. Look, there's, outside of the State of the Union, not really a catalyst to this, but the break was gigantic, was followed up by, well, it included a large volume spike. It's been followed up by a big retracement, but hey, guess, it's holding VWAP, not even VWAP. It's actually holding previous highs here on this pullback, and I'm talking 94. So this is going to be on the radar. It wasn't really this morning. I can't say that we're even looking at it, but this has been in a pretty decent trend the last couple of days after, you know, it gapped up when Truth got launched. Oh my goodness, Mulan. I keep saying Mulan. That Mullen just broke 05. It's going to be trading that pretty heavily today. Another 400 million shares worth of volume. But ever since the release, it had been selling off, and you've had 3 or 4 nice little grinding days to the upside and finally breaking out through 94 even. But I'm pulling up to 15 so you can see where it stalled out. It just came right to 96. The afternoon high, the day that they had the App Store release. So 96, a bit of a line in the sand here for DWAC. Maybe you can retest it, get some move to the upside. It's just, there's not a heck of a lot that's strong. Oddly enough, at the high of the day, Lordstown, I'm actually short that one at the high of the day, but not a lot of things that are super strong. DWAC could be your afternoon runner if it can take out 96. There's lots of room. I mean, if you look at this, it could easily get to 100 on a 96 break. Just keep in mind, there's no particular catalyst here. It's just one of those momentum style plays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting back down. I didn't even look at DWAC, but yeah, that's always a nice little runner here. We have SoFi long off the bottom. I mean, how many times? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. The People's Trader is here. Let's just keep on doing this, man. We're getting this out now at 45. SoFi has been a very, very profitable stock today. We're up on this name for sure. We don't have too many red names today, just AMC, but SoFi right now started to be a little punishing off the open there as it came into the downside, but we've really picked our levels on SoFi, so we're going to try to hold this now and see if we can't get back into the 60s. I remember on Prad's show when we were talking about this trade, we got out at VWAP and people were like, oh, he's getting out, and they're right. We did get out on VWAP, then it faded and we made it all the way back down, and then we simply did a reloaded, down back here at 1136, and now we'll take this to the upside. But SoFi, so far so good on this one. But DWAC, I don't know, man. I mean, what about CFVI? Let's have a quick look at this one. This is a name that I prefer to trade just because it makes a little more sense. There's a little more liquidity. And I remember this one time I was trading, well, you guys remember I was trading DWAC, and all of a sudden it's like, bang, $6 down. I think it was the $86 break or something like that. But CFVI doesn't seem to be moving the same way here. It just did touch 1214, 1215, making a bottom of 1185. So let's just check out the 20 period rate here. Yeah, I mean, again, down here to 1150, it's been there before. CFVI is asleep right now. Will it wake up? I don't know, but a 12 break might get it going.
Lucid was on watch this morning, guys, coming off of earnings as well, if you remember. To the downside in the pre-market here, I mean, it's, if I zoom out a little bit, we haven't really done much. Tested lower, tested higher, now we're kind of stuck right in the middle. So you had to be quick at the open for Lucid, guys, but there was a trade in there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I looked for essentially one thing, and that was a 25 break. And Lucid was crazy. Like, if you would tell me that it was going to put in that kind of a move, I actually anticipated, really that it might test higher before breaking down. It looked like it was about to do so. I'm showing the 15-minute here. About aftermarket, you had a 25 bottom. You came in today, pre-market, there was a 25 low. It looked like it was trying to go. Like, you saw it get almost a 26 even. And then it started screaming to the downside. And a lot of times you don't like a breakout when it's moving down like this, going into the pre-market, but I had to stop in. This is one that I definitely wanted. We saw it break down a couple of times, and the only mistake, and I'm not going to use it for my frustrating trade of the day. I could, but I had a target of 23.50 on the stock, and then decided once it was screaming to the downside, I want to hold that last portion and then give it all the way back to see if we could take out those lows. That's just being a little bit greedy on my part. So end up only taking like the buck on the trade, then try to reload back around that 25 that stopped out. And then it went to the pre-market highs. And it's essentially settling down here. You're seeing it just bouncing forth off VWAP. I don't really see much of a trade on Lucid. There's a heck of a lot else moving right now. So for something for 16% down, for it to be just bouncing around 10, 20 cents around VWAP is a little bit disappointing. Like I said, Lordstown, I'm trading that off of its high of the day. It has yet to really try to break out from there, so I'm shorting the top. But Lucid, it was great this morning, a bit of a sleeper this afternoon.
Yeah, no, we could have done, I was just choosing between Lucid or Coinbase for the trade of the day, and it could have been both. And we'll talk about Lucid right now. I mean, this is the #1 name here on the sticky note. It's the #1 net trading account, net-wise, P&L-wise, for Neil and myself today. So Lucid right now, the short at 25 was about as golden as it could be here, Timmy. Yep, no problem. We shorted here 25 to the downside, and then basically it just started to go from there. We waited for this break of 25, which was the bottom of the range in the pre-market. It takes that out, and then we started to go short. We were a little bit nervous about this trade, right, on our sticky note. But when we take this, it's okay. It's in the pre-market. It's not as many shares as we wanted, but we take 25 cents early, and then we'll look at it drop down here. It just drops down to 23.50. So we wound up taking, $1.50 on that trade, right? And then this is a long. It takes 24 back out, and we're like, okay, we wanted the long the whole day basically anyways. So we take that long and hit that long like crazy again, all the way to the upside. Hold the last 10% before getting out. Up, 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 up. Like that out right there is 60, 70 cents. So nicely done to the upside. And right now we're like, wow, this is my best stock, and this is crazy. But guess what? It gives us another break. It comes all the way back down. We didn't load it up here because it's only 9:48, right? So we're like, okay, what are we waiting for? And then we wait for the trend to change, wait for the 50 period to get taken, and then it doesn't really go. So we start to get out for like 3, 4, 5 cent victories, like they're nothing basically, because we're too heavy. We have too many shares here, right? But then it blows up to the upside. This 24 long here, 24.30 long, turns out to be a 25.65 take on the last little bit there, all the way to the upside. Just explosions, man. Like it breaks breaks through right here. We're not sure if it's going through 25, so we start taking out 70, 80 cents, then all the way to the upside, bang, and then we find our same problems again. But look, remember the problem in Coinbase was we didn't know how long to hold the thing because, hey, it was dipping back and forth, back and forth. Well, we did the same strategy here. As we hold the last little bit, this one it's only 10%, Coinbase it was 20%, but we hold the last little bit there for a 50-period break, which just happens to be $25. So it breaks it, we get out, and then as you can see right now, like Brendan and Neil mentioned, really not doing anything. I mean, I was sitting here trading Sofi. You can see we have a 50-cent win on Uber right now on board. And it was just like, you know what? Nothing was really working for us on Lucid, so we left it. It hasn't been doing anything in the afternoon, so it has to break some of these levels. I think maybe a 25 break and we'll take it. But hey, Lucid, #1 net stock here for us guys today.
Target was also on the watch list this morning. They reported pre-market that was better than expected as well for TGT. That was beat right across the board. Their forecast was a little bit on the downside as far as supply chain issues concerned, but you can see we popped up very early in the morning. I mentioned 221 and ended up holding a couple of times in the pre-market. That ends up being a line in the sand. We actually just got back above again. 221, guys, for TGT. Another one, yeah, we're up 11%, but not really doing much.
Well, considering how weak the market is, I'd say I actually kind of think it's doing yeoman's work right now. The fact that it's up 10% and is holding this gap despite a ton of pressure on it for some profit takers maybe, throw in the fact that we're breaking down almost 2% on the ES. The NASDAQ over here is down 1.5%, and you're holding the line. I looked at this and said, okay, I like the 50 period for a bit of a bounce, and it just never really materialized well off of that level. So it never got down there. And when I talk about profit taking, this stock just a few days ago was at $180. So when you get this kind of movement, it's not just the 10% today. It's a great quarter. Retail has been getting absolutely crushed, at least recently, by the market, regardless of how their earnings are going. So this is a good look for them. Closing above that 50 period, confirming a breakout like this in the midst of a weak market is a great look for Target. Obviously, we do have to dodge the bullet, or it has to dodge the bullet for the rest of the day. You still could get this level break, and then suddenly that low is gone. But for now, this is one of the strongest names in the market. Even if it's below VWAP, even if it's close to those lows, you've got to be able to put things into perspective. It is about 25% up in just 4 sessions. For Target, that's incredibly impressive. So great quarter for them. I don't see much of a day trade here. I think there was that maybe one shot early in the pre-market, right at the open if you were aggressive enough. But even then, that was a very small scalp trade relative to the volume that it's had. So I don't really think it's more of a day trade. This is just a hero long opportunity for anyone that took this last couple of weeks, got rewarded. DWAC, by the way, that just plunged a little bit here down into VWAP. Oh, type New York, so this isn't going to load. DWAC just dropped down into 93.50 as it's coming back in off of that breakout on no news.
All right, we sold, look, we knew retail was going to be in trouble for a bit. We sold our Walmart, and again, we tweeted it out. You can follow me at TraderTV, Sean, to see some of the positions that I'm taking on this. Wow, the market is really trying to blow up here. I don't know. I'm trying to go to the upside right now, which is going to help our Sofi and hurt our Uber, but that's okay. All right, so Walmart, we sold it up here at 145. Just a high area here for Walmart. Obviously, they haven't been really performing either this year, but what really has to the downside, and I think that you'll be happy, trading your targets and whatnot. But for me, honestly, I think Macy's, just because they have a lot going for them, I feel like Macy's right now, especially with their online. This is barcoding. They do have, there was some activist news there not too long ago that shot this thing up where they're talking about maybe spinning off some of their online. But Macy's, again, stuck in a range. I'm not super excited about retail, but it's great for Target today to be up there. I think it's a definite opportunity to cash them out.
Per week, still trying to bounce along the day lows here for the overall market. A little mining stock just popping up. Hecla Mining, HL in New York, up big time anyways today, along with the rest of this group. But day highs there, you can see monster volume spike just went off at day highs for HL. I was trying to remember. I feel like this got involved with the whole AMC squeeze type idea going back to the beginning of last year and into the spring of last year. I remember trading this thing April, May, June kind of thing of last year. So HL trying to go, but there's no, I just checked, there's no short interest at all on it at this point. It's like 1.8%. So anyways, watch out for HL. Let's go to oil. It broke 100 in the pre-market, went right through to almost 107 in a straight line. We are pulling back a little bit here as the NYMEX trading wraps up for the day. But yeah, crude oil, guys, some of these oil stocks, pretty impressive.
Oh, it was, look, to say that they're impressive is an understatement. Like, I'm going to pull up CVX because we traded it, but Oxy was even more ridiculous. And apologies for these wicks here. Some crazy dark prints this morning. Maybe not doing this justice, but like the breakout from back from 100, we were teetering just below 100 on spot prices in oil. And then at the open, everything just took off. Chevron announcing a buyback as usual. They're getting into clean EV space with a buy of Reggie. And that broke out in a big way up to 150. There was a double top at 150 we were able to take advantage of for VWAP pullbacks. But much like Target, in the midst of the pullback, it's just holding right here. I don't see too much of a trade for Chevron unless we get back to 150. It was a good short, but that was because when it got to that top and was pulling back off the highs, you had Occidental, which was continuing to break out. You had oil, which was continuing to break out, and Chevron was showing relative weakness. That's why I liked it. And this is what I mean by Oxy. Oxy put in that secondary move when Chevron was pulling back. It's in rarefied waters for it, as a daily chart doesn't want to load. In fresh highs, as it just recently broke out on the daily chart as well. This has been 2 days, $10 in 2 days, from 38 now to 48 on Oxy. Next stop possibly 50. The run in oil it seems like the churn to 120 a barrel without any actual sanctions directed at energy. Although people feel it's coming, nothing has actually happened yet, and it doesn't seem to matter. It's like we're headed for that 120 that some people called for last year.
Yeah, look, we never really trade oil names on here, but one thing that I have been talking about for your own portfolio and is just to get into some kind of a diversification. I got into XLE a while ago, and it's just at all-time highs now. Maybe not all-time highs, but close enough anyways. It's definitely at 52-week highs, taking out some of these levels. Oil right now, it just went down. It's at 103, but it was a nice move for oil, and I just feel like, you got to stay the long this trade, especially if, is it kind of a hedge? It's kind of a hedge, but, it can go up as it's going up today, as is some of the tech names, but I think it's a decent hedge now, oil, especially with what's happening in Russia. If that gets escalated, you do want to have some exposure here in this space, so why not take XLE? I also think the oil producers, which is OIH, I was going to say, is that on Amex or not? With a Halliburton, a Schlumberger as well in here, could be moving, but today, OIH to the downside, but these are oil services, so Valero, Schlumberger, like I said, Halliburton, stuff like that, so you could definitely watch out for the OIH as well, as that's pulled back down a little bit on the equity side, so if you want to look at that, that's a name that's underperforming today, although I believe this was another 52-week high. I don't think it actually hit 260 today, but we may have. Definitely 250, a nice little move for OIH. Not really sure why we made this move down here on OIH here off the open, but we have. Yeah, it does look like it was up at 260 today, so a nice pullback rate in here for OIH.
Note on Lordstown, just popping up here. GM, guys, has sold their remaining stake. Not sure how big that was left over, but they had a stake in Lordstown, if you remember. Not much of a reaction. It's actually rallying a little bit for GM on that. I haven't even looked at RIDE, but a note on GM just coming through there, worth a mention. Coinbase, Sean mentioned it off the top there. This rally that we saw overnight, essentially, in cryptocurrency markets, pretty impressive, all the way back to 45 on Bitcoin. We did come off as soon as equities got going a little bit, but coin, very, very strong still.
All right, so we're talking, what was that? They were talking about Coinbase, right, Brendan? Yep. Okay, so Coinbase. So it was the trade of the day, Coinbase today. It was definitely a missed opportunity for me to hold a little bit more. But now that I look at it, I said it was my #1 net stock. Lucid actually is, but it's pretty darn close. And all we did was very, very simple. And if you didn't see the trade of the day, I'll call it up right here again. This is the call that we made yesterday. We said that crypto Bitcoin was going to break 40,000. It sure did break 40,000, and I said that it would stop at 44. It goes to 44.5 and stops, and then pulls back down to 43. But we were part of this, so we saw this kind of barcoding. Look at the time, 9:30 right here. This is 9:30 when U.S. equity opened up, right? And look at the move to the downside. So we were watching this like a hawk, right? And all we did was basically, so that's sort of the reasoning behind this short, right? And obviously, with crypto moving to the upside, Coinbase had to float to the upside because it wasn't at 40,000 when it closed yesterday, right? So here's the upside move, takes in that 44. It's like, okay, here we go. And then all of a sudden, this consolidation, this gave me the out that I needed at 206. So as soon as we saw the consolidation, and I mean, look, this is what trading is all about. I'm 20 years here and still learning every single day, right? Once this started to fall down, we're like, okay, we have this. Started to fall down, so we knew we wanted to go which way, and so here's the short. Unfortunately, we haven't traded Coinbase in a while, and I had no idea how aggressive, or I would not have taken two spots out there. The first spot, look, that's a 205 short. That first out is 204.05. The next one's 203.50, and then we have 202. So we're cashing out. Like, these are $3 in the money right here. Then we take another out at 200. So that's $5, and then it comes all the way down and crashes before we eventually use the 50 period to get out. You know, like I said, hindsight is 20/20. I had no idea that obviously crypto was still going to continue to go down. And just to show you guys could see the relationship here, crypto makes a bottom at 43.2 at noon, so at 12 p.m. So let's go back and look at Coinbase now. This is Coinbase at 12 p.m. down here at 190. So definitely the relationship is strong, it's true, it's there. So definitely worth looking at next time. But hey, I thought we did the right move. It's my best trade of the day, I think, because it's one in. And, for you guys on PDT and things like that, you don't need to see my Palantir or my Sofi trades. But this is a good one here on Coinbase. So a nice little winner there. My number one stock of the day and the second highest net stock on the show.
Crazy. We're just talking a little bit about coin and some currency news I was just discussing with Miss B. SoFi, guys. SoFi, I mean, a nice day, really. Held key levels anyways, all throughout the midday, coming back to yesterday's levels anyways, yesterday's key levels of support. 11.5, 1140, we're still up in positive territory. Earnings on deck tonight for SoFi.
Yeah, someone got the jump early on SoFi, I think, in the pre-market. They took that 1180 break. I like that level break. I didn't want it before 9 o'clock, so I didn't actually have the order in yet. I was looking for it at the open, and then somebody jumped the gun. It wasn't a ton of volume anyways, and then it tried to go. I had a quick short that I'm telling you, like, wicked me out right here, which is a bit of pain in the butt. And then we just went to work, like, sort of scalping it. I took the first trade off that original 1180, scalped it for a win, and then we worked off of the pre-market lows. That got back up to about 1190. Again, these are winning trades, but when you're thinking that there's going to be a bigger move in the stock, it's a little bit disappointing. I did jump back in at 1155. Didn't want a 10-cent scalp. I was looking for 1190s, and then that ended up breaking down at 1150. So, unfortunately, it's a disappointing stock overall. It was actually not that bad, but I'm not going to shotgun it. It was a downward trend the entire way, and the first short I got stopped out. Able to make some success with the longs, but into earnings, essentially someone jumped that gun, and they've been selling it off ever since. Worth noting on the higher time frame, like SoFi already put in work. Forget about that wick off bottom. That $10 level has already been held, and you already put in a 20% move the last couple of days. I don't know why this part of the day is randomly missing here for yesterday. For 2 days, it's up 20%, and actually about 35% from those bottoms last week if you want to count that. And I think that's part of the reason why you had that sell-off when you go back to the higher time frame, about 12.25. That's what I did look to short. I could have said this is also like a frustrating one because that was a short that I should have held on to, but it was early in the pre-market. I didn't necessarily love it at that time of day.
Yeah, for me, guys, SoFi was money. So we'll spin that again, and it's just happening again right now. We just got out some at 56. This is a 20-cent win that we have on, and all we did is just pretty easy. again, some stocks give you the trades and some you have to work for. SoFi actually just hands them to you right here. Why? Because of this level. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Look at this, 1120, 1130. Right? I mean, SoFi was a little tricky off the open, like Neil was saying, but if you've been playing it in the afternoon, it's been about as easy. Hello, SoFi. We just got a 70 print there as someone markets it up. That's worth a floss all day long as SoFi, yeah, buddy, a nice little out there. Look where we're long. Look at these reloads, right? Reloaded down here, bang to the upside. Reload again, reload, 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 all down here. It's about as easy as you can get for SoFi. So, hey, look, if you're eating lobster tonight, maybe now, or sorry, if you're eating chicken dinners tonight, then you may like this, but SoFi giving you that lobster tonight, and there it goes, a nice little trade to the upside, just hammering this trade long, 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 all day, and there's a night, we just got a 70, wow, that was crazy. I don't know why someone just marketed SoFi up there. I guess it was on a break of VWAP or something, but we'll take that out. We still have a piece on for SoFi, but again, like I was happy. I was just gonna say, wow, we got a 50 print on SoFi, and then we got a 70 print on SoFi. So this is starting to get going. Before we go though, we have most frustrating stock. Okay, this is not going to be that, but I did want to talk about Uber quickly. We just shorted Uber twice. It was so nice, we shorted it twice. Boom, boom, again, all the way to the downside right here. Unfortunately, we held it thinking that the market was going to crash. We still have a small piece on this. This is a 34.40 short. It just went down to 34.75. Okay, so that we should have cashed that out, but we'll hold on to Uber there. I heard Pratt, he liked that. It was so nice, we took it twice. I like that. I think you like that, Pratt? I think we're gonna use that moving forward, but that's how you gotta be confident, right? I wasn't as confident on some of the trades, but this one on Uber, like why, even Neil was like, I think it was Neil, we were like, why is Uber down today? Like, we couldn't really figure out why it was down so much. But 5%, man. So I just picked a stock that was beat down, and then we beat it up. So sorry about that, Uber.
Yeah, they did announce in the pre-market they cut ties with Yandex. They had a deal with Yandex for services over in Russia. So that was really it, though. So if you were looking at Uber, it might have been a little confusing. I was just checking. I mean, obviously, we can't see Cathie Wood trades in real time, but maybe we see a 800,000 buy tomorrow on cathiesarc.com on SoFi, because that was about 1 million shares that just went off there right through to 1185. So I'll mark that down, and we'll have a look at cathiesarc.com tomorrow and see. Let's go to frustrating stocks of the day. It was a bit choppy at the open today, so pretty easy to have a few.
So this is an easy one for me because it's going to be Mullen. Look, Mullen yesterday, you saw the crazy run in the afternoon. We had some pretty good shorts off the top. Off the lower highs at 185, even though it followed through right after I got out, that was still a good short off the top. And you came in this morning with another gap up. And keep in mind, these guys have an approved offering that they're just willing to drop, ready to drop on anybody at any moment. So that's going to hang on the stock for the next couple of days until it eventually happens, because I'm sure they will do it. But never, always take your profit. Never assume that these things are going to go absolutely parabolic. This is what the chart looks like. So great. It used to be 50 cents and then it went to $2. But the rug got pulled this morning, and it was almost too good to be true of a setup at 9:30. And I get it. At that particular point, Lucid was making the moves, and Lucid had the earnings, and Lucid was what I was watching. But the rug pull potential on Mullen was actually a bigger opportunity than Lucid, just how far it could have gone. And you'll see right at 9:30, it did the pop and fade, essentially getting to 180, which was right below that high that we were shorting yesterday. And I missed out on that trade. At least the only thing I can say is I did not get stubborn about it. If I had, I probably would have won anyways, because you could have chased it as far as you wanted and the short would have worked. But I didn't do that because I hate chasing a move that big. Eventually, there was a good defense here. The breakout price from yesterday at 120 held for a scalp trade, then eventually broke. And then $1, which I said all morning, it gets to $1. That's where I definitely want to go long. That was actually pretty good. I managed to bungle the short off of $1. Ended up going to 80 cents, but I got stopped out here around ones. And then I've been shorting it a couple of times on the way back to the upside. But this is a rug pull that I wanted to have, and I should have been all over it at 9:30. You pick and choose what you want to do at that time of day. Obviously, because you can't trade 10 things at once right when the market opens, but going away from what clearly was the most volatile and most liquid stock in yesterday's trade. Going away from that one and not being ready for it at 9:30, sort of gravitating towards the energy names and the Lucid. It'll be my frustrating one of the day because by the time I got to it, it had already fallen like 40%, which is crazy.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I should have been on Mullen a bunch of times, and I haven't been. But I could choose Palantir. So what's up to Henry for that one? I think it was my most frustrating stock yesterday because we didn't trade it, and again today we didn't trade it. I just couldn't find any levels for that stock today. Maybe 1175. It is what it is. We'll see tomorrow. But Palantir, if you look here on its daily chart, it's been pretty good. Actually, the daily doesn't do justice. Let's go to the 20-minute chart quickly. They reported on the absolute worst day. They reported on the 24th, which was the day that the market got absolutely destroyed. So it got killed to the downside way too much there. It should have never even broke 10, but it did. And now you're seeing up to 1240. Thanks again to Aunt Kathy for selling all of her Palantir on earnings day. Good move. Here I am buying ARK-Q. ARK-Q, I guess. I don't have to say the extra K in the end there. But there it is to the upside. Palantir beautifully off earnings, man. It's up 25% since its earnings day. So that's not too bad. Up 25% in about a week for Palantir. But hey, it's been bad. So don't, I'm not trying to say like, yay, Palantir. But we knew this was going to be a problem, this stock, in this rate environment. So I'm fine with it. But my real frustrating stock of the day has to go with AMC. Why? Because I actually have the most fills out of any stock today, and it's my only negative name. Actually, we are negative on Microsoft. We can review that one negative name today, AMC. Microsoft is pennies how much we're negative, but AMC we're actually negative quite a bit. So we take that first break at 1930. Why did we take that? Because it was yesterday's high. So we're like, okay, if AMC is going to go, we want that 1930 break. It goes up to 42, and we take like 10% out, nothing. Then it just crashes down. We're like, uh-oh, the break isn't working today. So we get a little bit out. Though that's like the saving grace. Thank God we did that. But then it just crashed, and we started to get some out at 19, so on and so forth. Then we don't get anything out until we reload this thing down here at 54. The problem with this reload, and this is why it's frustrating, is honestly, I just didn't believe in the stock because I was thinking we could easily get down here to 1830. And if I put the same amount of shares here that I did there, then I'd have the same fate, man. Like when this started to drop down, I'd be in hella trouble. And it actually does drop down. But when it comes back up, we're like, uh-oh, save me, save me. It's still too early. It's not even 10 o'clock. And we're like, uh-oh, this is not good. So save me. And we get the majority of them out here before, guess what happens, guys? It takes out the 50-period moving average and then starts filling 19s. And if we were able to hold out the whole time, then we'd be positive on the stock. But we weren't. This is just in and out here. We took this on Prad's show. This was actually a winner again at 1820, out some 30s and 40s before it finally broke, and we got out. But AMC, just a lack of being patient and honestly a lack in confidence and just thinking that, hey, if this thing keeps tanking, then we're in real big trouble. And not only that, but you saw what Lucid was doing and what Coinbase was doing. I was in all of those while this was going on. So, yeah, AMC for sure, my most frustrating stock of the day. But trust me, I'll be back, AMC. I'll be back.
Always. One more for you, CTIC. I was going to mention MULN, Mullen, but Neil covered that very well. CTIC, another one we discussed in the pre-market this morning, up on FDA approval. Very, very positive for the overall stock. Still, 54% in positive territory on the day. There was just no follow through on this stock. I mean, it was, if you go to a daily time frame like 320 up to 340, pretty obvious areas of resistance. They end up holding very, very nicely. But another one gaps up and just goes sideways. It's been the story of 2022 so far. Gap up, go sideways. Not much follow through unless you're Mullen today. My read terrible on MULN. So there you go. Frustrating stocks all over the place depending on how you're looking at this morning. We didn't really touch on any of the banks. The banks remain pretty weak throughout the entire session. Going into the State of the Union, going into next week specifically, remember, the 10th we get CPI, the 15th we get the first interest rate hike in years in the U.S. So banks under pressure still here this afternoon.
Yeah, I'll say the least. And look, I know Trader Prad was trading. There was a buy. TD's buying FHN. I think he was trading that buyout and saying to himself, "Man, why is it only going down?" It's because the financials are getting absolutely rocked today. I was about to say with the exception of, but it's not really an exception in Citi. It's more that it didn't make the break I was looking for. This one, most of Russian exposure, they've already been crushed. But I'll be looking at this level on Citi for a while, and it gets better the more you zoom out. I'm zooming out a little bit, so I did this morning. This is 57.5, double bottom. This is back to December, so you're not even talking about those January lows. We just touched that yesterday. You zoom out even further, go all the way back to our 2020 breakout, and then dip into 2021. Yeah, that is 3 times we've tested that level and run from it. This is a huge level for Citigroup. You're seeing a lot of pain with the financials getting sold off in this uncertainty ahead of the rate hike, and some concerns, of course, regarding the overall economy, which is putting these under pressure. So Citigroup, if it takes out this level, there's room to run. As you can see, it's just running away from the averages, and now it's testing support. Bit of a consolidation for now, so I guess the panic might be gone from this move, but this is one I will be watching. I don't usually look at Citigroup when we're talking about the banks, but that's a level that I can't ignore throughout this week. So 57.5 on Citigroup goes. I'll be there the day it breaks to try that short. It's just too big of a level not to.
Yeah, I haven't really been looking too much at banks. Yesterday we were trading JP Morgan. I noticed JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley. I also noticed Morgan Stanley is getting absolutely killed. Let's go JP Morgan, come on. All right, this is just not loading. Let me see if I can switch over to Morgan Stanley quickly here.
It is New York.
Nope, I don't know. I don't know if we're doing anything on the internet here or not, but this seems to be slow one more time. But anyways, Morgan Stanley down.
I think I have.
Yeah, nothing's loading right now. I don't even think we should maybe do the evergreen yet. Let's just wait to make sure this is loading up. Okay, so here goes Morgan Stanley. Looks like it's better. Down 4% today, down 3 and a bit. Was down 4 at its lows. Now finally starting to catch a bid. But so is the NASDAQ. So I guess it's okay. But we thought banks would give back a little bit. They've been pretty high up. I mean, Morgan Stanley got as high as 105 or something. But it's been pretty nasty for the month of January for a lot of these banks. I guess it started here. And again, I don't know where my data is, but it started back in the beginning of January where we hit some of these highs. And look, even just think about how sad this is really. In a month, just on Morgan Stanley alone, you're down like 20-something% in a month. Like, that's nasty, right? I mean, the same is true for everything. Thank God I bought Goldman, which isn't that bad. Goldman I bought at 350. It's down to 330. So that's about less than 10%, but still moving to the downside goes a lot of these banks. So just be careful. The only place to hide, I guess, right now is energy and peekaboo. Soon they'll find you, Brendan.
Let's talk about volatility. We got a lot of questions lately, guys, about the current market conditions and how long is this going to last is the most common question. I want to show you a chart here first to start things off, guys, of the VIX. Because there is a very clear, if I can bring this over, it's not actually cooperating right now, but let's do this. There we go. I'll show you the chart of the VIX and show you a very clear uptrend on a daily chart for the VIX. We got all the way up here to 34. These are the futures, S&P 500 VIX futures. 34 was the high, but a very clear uptrend. We're struggling to get back above 30 on the VIX, but obviously the volatility index going to measure how much volatility is in this market. But the question is, what can we look to maybe give us a hint as to when this might wrap up?
How long will volatility be here for? Ever? Look, man, it's around so long that we're going to take the F off the F forever. But it's just, I'm going to put up a countdown for you guys. I hope you can see this here. Countdown to the FOMC, 14 days. We have not had the rate hike yet. Everybody is ready to react, and look, we've been seeing increased volatility for a while. I get it. You also have what's going on in the Ukraine and Russia, but it's been here for a while, and it's a symptom of the change that we've had in the overall market. We know we're in a raising rate environment. Everyone's adjusting on the fly. You're repricing major names, and on top of that, the other phenomenon you have here is overwhelming options trading. right? Like, we know this is the case. Just watch any stock after it reports, and you're seeing incredibly wild swings in the aftermarket, in the pre-market. It's completely crazy. That's not going anywhere. I think volatility is here to stay. If you've traded in a raising rate environment, then you understand that is great for short-term traders, because the uncertainty of when are they going to hike next? Is it going to be 50? There's more surprises at bay when the Fed is making moves. So I think increased volatility is here for the rest of the year. That's just 2022. I mean, the example is going to be, look at the moves in the Q since we've turned and broken down. Look, we took that 200 period, we broke this 375 support. It's just been a different ball game, right? You're not having these tight consolidations. You are getting wild swings. Even on the way up, look at how controlled the moves were at the upside. You didn't have many $10, $15 days in the Qs, 20. It just wasn't happening on the way up last year. On the way down, we're seeing a heck of a lot of that. So my answer is, I don't think we're going to have any signs of it until maybe when the Fed starts, the whole notion of paring down the balance sheet. That'll be the last shoe to drop. And when we get a target as to where that might trim off to, then I think volatility might calm down. But you're talking, down the line this year. I mean, they're still buying bonds, right? Like they're not doing that runoff just yet. There's a lot of shoes that have to drop before I'm going to be convinced that volatility's gone.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. I'm just going to go, to be as honest, and straight up as I can. I think oil needs to drop down. And because, we're talking about volatility. We're not talking about when the market makes new highs or new lows. It's just the volatility. And honestly, when oil's acting like this, it throws off the equity market a lot, because, there's a lot of names here in manufacturing that rely on oil. We know a lot of the airlines, the travel names, obviously a lot of the production. We just talked about manufacturing, industrials. A lot of that is on oil, and there's a lot of hedging going on in the market between your equity positions, oil positions. We're talking about gold as well. But I'm just going to use oil here because, when is the last time? You can go back. There are times like this, 2008. Obviously, oil went negative in 2020 as well. But, like this move, this goes all the way back to, this is a year. This goes back to 2020, 2021, the beginning of the year. And, today is the largest up candle for oil. So, it's starting to move. Look at the last, even since December 20th, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 red days since December 20th on oil. And I'm not even sure some of these are even red, to be honest with you. You could barely see some of these ticks. So oil's leading the way right now to the upside, and I think it just needs to calm down. Like, if oil can calm down, then I believe the volatility will once again be here. But a lot of this obviously has to do with overseas and things like that. But I believe oil will lead the way here once it starts moving again, 0.5% a day, things like that, instead of 8, 9, 10% a day. Then the volatility should sort of start to levy off a bit.
Geopolitical concerns remain on the overall market, including on energy markets and oil markets in general. Whether you're looking at geopolitical concerns or whether you're looking at the interest rate hike that is coming, as Neil was mentioning, lots of headwinds still in this overall market. So market conditions have changed, and we have to adjust as active traders to them. I wanted to mention GM here, guys, because, the market's kind of rallying back to the upside. I mentioned that note on Ride, Lordstown, so GM selling their remaining stake in Lordstown. So just I saw some more volume there as it cleared that last little pivot, 44.75. Still down, though, 4.25. We've seen some of these other automakers having a pretty good day where GM may be some room to go.
It used to be good luck. Brendan talking about the GM. Ride is about to stop me out at 270. Well, 271, actually. And there it goes. So usually Brendan's good luck. I'm going to do... Oh, I don't have... There it is. I actually do have that one. We'll do this. I want to do the face slap one, but I was on the wrong page. Thank you for pointing this out. I'm going to have to look to see who put in about the death cross. I actually when I brought up the Qs chart just now, I did mean to mention, and the reason I was using the Qs was even today in the last couple of runs that we've had to the upside, you are getting a death cross on the Qs. Pretty much right now. Like we're seeing it happen today. So if we close essentially here, you're going to get that death cross. That's a 50 crossing the 200 on your daily chart 50. There. So not a great look. I don't know if we want to show the chart. There you go. This is the cross happening as we speak here today. And that's look, to expect volatility to go down after that, it's not going to happen. It's like when Sean showed that chart. I've been watching oil all day long. I mean, we've been watching oil for a few weeks, and I was still like,
yeah.
damn, right? Like,
I didn't notice it was like that either.
damn, Gina. Oil's going wild. So it's one of these crazy things where if you haven't been trading very long, if your experience is you just came into the market after COVID, then I think this level of volatility isn't new to you. But trust me, if you've been around like 08, I remember this happening, of course, the dot-com bubble. These types of things are relatively normal, man. Like when the Fed starts raising rates, when the balance sheet got to $9 trillion, $3 to $9 trillion in like 2 years, right? Like that's crazy. And they're gonna pull it back to what, 6? Everyone's estimating. Well, what happens when they pull that rug? And by the way, they can't start doing that till they stop buying bonds, and they're not doing that till in 14 days when they start raising rates. Like none of this is even starting to happen. So this could last all year, man. Like which is great for us trading because that means volatility I think is here to stay, and we're here to take advantage of it.
Volatility, yeah, good.
Lunch?
Good Prad's getting ready to rock and roll. We're all going out. He's going to try some oysters for the first time. And then Platinum Prad and Neil going to hit up the Raptors game tonight. And Brendo and I were supposed to go, but that's when they nixed the
COVID.
Yeah, the attendance. The Raptors were playing with 0 fans. Just today, finally, no vaccine requirements and no fan restrictions, other than the fact that you got to sit there in your seat with your mask on.
Unless you're eating and drinking.
Unless you're eating or drinking, yeah. But apparently they're supposed to be pretty hard about it, but I don't know.
I was at the Jays games, and let's just say people were always eating or drinking at all times.
Oh, yeah. No. I was at something. I was at a hockey event, and yeah, I mean, I had my mask down or whatever. Yeah, always. I mean, look, you're at a sporting event. You're always supposed to have something in your hand anyway. So that's going to be a good one.
Water.
But yeah, water for sure, of course. Oh yeah, last time we went out late, you weren't in the next morning. So is Arun on call or what?
Okay, so the funny thing is, I actually had talked to Arun about covering tomorrow, but it's because I'm picking up the car tomorrow. Okay. So anyways, I'm getting a new car. But it's just, what ended up happening is, I wanted to be able to do that during the day, and my daughter has swimming, so anyways, my wife is going to have to do it because Arun isn't available to cover, so I'll have to pick it up after work. So it is what it is. Arun had an engagement today. That's why he wasn't on the morning show, and he, again, is going to be busy tomorrow, although he is still crushing at trading when I looked and checked. I'm going to get this one out of the way here, and I'm going to mention Tellurian because for some reason, I saw in the chat at one point, it was in the midday show, and they're like, why do you guys never talk about Tell? By the way, I distinctly remember talking about Tellurian when it was falling back down off that $5 high, but that's neither here nor there. It's a natural gas play, but it's been going absolutely bonkers the last couple of sessions. It's worth bringing up. Parabolic for 3 days, 4 or 5 days in a row, breaking its 50 period, and it gets to this $4 level, and this is your wick top at $4. This is kind of why I'm bringing it up. It's on that break, it's just fine. They still have some balance sheet issues. I actually like the company overall. I think they got something going here. But as far as the trade goes, you get a wick off top at $4, and then you get this little bit of a pullback here. If it retests the 4 and can't go through, after the run it's had, there's room to come back in on Tellurian. It's been a great run for it, and maybe long term, it can be a good way to play nat gas. Like I said, they do have a few issues there, but Tellurian, it could be a trade this afternoon if it makes another press at that top and we get another wick off. But this morning, that was a great shot right when we were ending the show, and I think that's why someone was like, why aren't you guys talking about Tell? Because it made that press through 4, essentially right when we were coming off, and then we're starting to fall back down right at the beginning of the midday show. And it's worth watching because natural gas is on the move, as we know.
I don't understand what's going on right now with Lucid because it's completely barcoding as if it doesn't even matter that it reported or, that it's down 15% or, I'm just glad that we trade this in the open today because obviously it's done really nothing since then. So right now, like I said, I don't know what Lucid's doing, but it's not doing much. So just chilling out right here, LCID, wait to see where it goes from here, but right now doing nothing. That's going to take me over to Rivian. We're good to go on whatever we want now, right, Brendo? This is, we're done the rundown. So, okay, good. So Rivian right now, 66, 67. $57 right now, nothing at the top side. We talked about shorting that earlier on today, but it just kept on going down the whole day. And when we were trading and we could have shorted this, we weren't looking at it, but that 65 was a great short for Rivian. And like I said, you sort of got to sometimes play some of the other names that you know will be similar fate to those that you've already traded. And we knew that Lucid today had a downward pressure. So obviously Rivian the same thing here, downward pressure for Rivian. What is going on WFC right now? Maybe we'll put, excuse me, yesterday we traded JPM, not well. It was a loser, but if I remember correctly, it wasn't bad. We got saved by, I think, one move yesterday near the end. But then, the imbalances came out. Right, yep. So, yeah, right. So we got hit short, then we got hit short, then we took it long, and we made some money, then we got hit again. So, yeah, yesterday, JP Morgan was not good for us. WFC here on a 20-minute, it just touched 50, which is obviously really super interesting for me because that's a key level right there. It touched it earlier on, I guess, in the morning time. Oh, we can't look at a daily chart for the banks, but let's have a quick look now to see if it's scalpable. Wow, that wasn't even that long ago, man. That was at 2 o'clock. We were down to $50. So, we missed that. Down to 50.20. It looks like it's trying to break down lower again. This is worth the short right now. I'm going to go short here on WFC. Looks like it's breaking. We have VWAP up here at 50.80. What do I have on board here? I have Uber short, which is 30 cents in the money. SoFi long. Okay, so we can probably afford this. All right, let's go short right now, WFC. We'll put on a position now. Think that it's going to hold. I don't know. The futures look like it wants to go a little bit lower. So let's take an initial spot here at 57 and then see if we can average this in like 62, 63 up here, maybe 66 or so, and then play off some of these highs. It's Miss V. What's up?
Hey guys, we have 3,000 people watching right now, and I kindly remind you, please like this video. Your support means so much for Trader TV Live family and for our beautiful trading community. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Ms. V. And saying to myself, like, why am I doing this? Looking at, I'm going to show you guys the NASDAQ very, very quickly here, the NQ, the minis, at that 14,000 mark and testing it as we speak. So, of course, it's like, yeah, let me just look at what's actually at these bottoms. Quintuple bottom on Microsoft at 294. And I never got that 300 short. I think Pratt had it, and I was like, oh my God, 300. And he mentioned it, and I never got into the short. I did try it, but I didn't want to chase. But either way, quintuple bottom at 294. I just went long in front of it. This is as much a play off of Microsoft's bottom as it is that 14,000 level, right? If that gets taken clean and we head lower in the NASDAQ, and of course, like I said, I'm looking at the mini, so if you're looking at the composite, it'll be different, but look, the level's going to be the same thing. It's still holding that bottom. If we break higher, I think we can get a nice little scalp up into 95s and then 96 here, but obviously you need the futures to hold. This NASDAQ is trying to toe the line. We started the show both with the trade of the day and then also talking with the DWAC news. The DWAC move. It didn't actually have any news. All the way back to VWAP and now barcoding. So it looks much ado about nothing. Kind of looking at this 93.5 where it broke out from and is currently holding. If that gets taken out, I think it has one of those little flushes that it's been known to do in it. So DWAC is on my mind, but it's Microsoft that I just got into, which is as much a play at the 14,000 level. But at this time of day, I like finding an equity that's at a key level that also has support to sort of double down on that with the market and the key level on the stock.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was looking at my positions, like what do we have? Do we have stocks that can play off of this market, looking to take out 14,000 right now? We talked about that over and over again, man. 14,000 is pretty damn key to the NASDAQ, and it's bouncing off of it right now, and it actually held it this morning. I mean, it got as low as 13,970. 30 points lower is not really going to change anything. So let's wait to see if we take that out. Right now, we are at that low. So, hey, we're back in. Well, I mean, we reloaded. And like I said, if you like it twice, it's so nice. You take it twice. We're taking this more than this. I mean, let's see what happens with WFC. I want to average in up here as well. I'm going to play it off this VWAP. Honestly, like if this takes this out when you're down 5%, then obviously my read on this market is just not great, which maybe is true. So let's wait to see. But right now, we are in the money. A whopping 4.5 pennies. Let's see if it comes back to the downside. We're going to wait at 50, I believe. That's a typical for me. Yep, 50. So we're down here at 50. That's pretty typical play for me. Getting some out at the even dollars and even penny levels. So 50, 75, 25 O's like that. But right now, again, 4.5 cents in the money. We'll wait for that one. SoFi, we're at, we have 10% left of this order. left. That's it. This was a gift right there. Like when Kathy came in and bought that, like wow. We'll see if that's true. Someone also said that there was. Well, Neil said it to me, and I guess you must have read it in the chat. Maybe Brendan can. I'll say in a second about SoFi. Yeah, it was just that Neil mentioned that SoFi rumor, I guess, about Square taking them out.
Well, I don't know if it's in. Look, someone put it in the chat, man.
Yeah.
I saw it in the chat.
No, that's why I was like,
I don't believe it or
saying
anything.
that like this came from the chat. And if that's the case, then I mean like that's why I shut it out, Brendan there, just to see what if there was something there, a little more reputable news sources up there that Brendan has. Not that you guys aren't reputable, but let's see it reported somewhere else. 1170 we got out. Now SoFi's coming back in. Look, I'm not married to this stock. This will be the last time. We've hit this really great 3 times. So let's wait to see where it goes from here. And then look at WFC. Like the market basically, this is making me a little nervous. And I'll tell you why. The market's like not coming up. It's actually continuing to go down, and WFC doesn't want to go down. I feel like if we were short some of these tech names, they're probably heading to the, like look, like if we were short Microsoft, when we took this WFC trade, we'd be now 70 cents in the money. So I don't know. We might be wrong here on the bank short because Uber is also trying to get to the downside again, but just trying to break 34. So we have 2 shorts on, and I'm not sure they're the best ones, man. Uber and WFC right now, while SoFi seems to want to make lows. So let's see what happens here. No more reloads down here, but we are going to get out if SoFi breaks this bottom of 1130.
So 4,300 also on. The E-minis as well just broke or pretty much at that 4,300 level. So you have like this convergence of things. And someone asked me, where's my out going to be on Microsoft? Well, it is that low, that 294 level. That could break and I'll be out. Unless somehow we've managed to reclaim 14. Like, I mean, if support holds on the futures and, Microsoft's barely below 94 is fine, maybe I'll hold on to it, but that doesn't look like it's happening. But what is at a key price, again, is Lucid. It's back to that 25 or close to that 25 level, just sort of consolidating here at the 80s. This was a morning short. I know it broke higher, but look at the resistance in the afternoon. It's managed to hold this. I'm actually trying to get the short off of this with the market. If the market's going to fall, then we do have at least a key level supporting us here on Lucid for a rollover. It's down 14%, but that doesn't do it justice because it's still $1.50 from those lows that it put in this morning. But I'm going to jump back into the south side of it in front of 25 even. Easy stop will be at that 25 if it does happen to go, guys. I just want to point this out in the chat here. Thank you. Remember for 12 months, and this is the Greek NYC. And he's like, if it wasn't for the weather in Toronto, I'd be grabbing, I'm assuming you mean grabbing, not grabbing, one of those seats behind you guys. Of course, the trading floor, which we're hiring, but this is what, I'm going to lay into it here for a second. Because
I want second.
Toronto, look, we don't live in the tundra.
We have better weather than you, bro.
This ain't the Arctic. It's not the Northwest. We're not in Alaska or the Arctic. We get better weather than New York. We don't have hurricanes coming up the East Coast or anything like that.
I don't remember last time we were like rained in or anything like that, flooded out.
Real talk, right?
Real talk. It depends on what part. Like if you're from like Western New York or anything like that, like Buffalo, I guess you're not from Buffalo because then you probably would make it up. But hey, what's up? Thank you for the super chat. But honestly, if anybody wants to come through, man, we've had guests come through here. So come through, man. I give everybody one of these water bottles. Hold it up, Neil. I'll show you. Anybody that comes through and sees the People's Trader gets one of these.
These are great, by the way.
There you go. But I'm going to have to run that through the expense report there. Yeah, I'll give you.
There's like hundreds of those things in the.
I don't know. I'm making it look like this is something special. Yeah, so you guys get one of those. So you got to see the People's Trader for that, and you'll get one. But yeah, come through, man. And we're not really playing like the weather here.
It's not so bad.
It's not so. I mean, it's better than Eastern Seaboard, right? And so, and you can look it up. But anyways, okay, let's go. Yeah, it is tough to beat the weather in Hawaii and or Miami and or every other place that people are putting on here. But the one good thing, and we talk about not getting political, the one thing that nobody can beat that lives in the U.S. is the fact that we live in Canada. And obviously, I love my country, so shout out to everybody here. Okay, WFC, we talked about being the wrong way right now on this name, and maybe we are. I'm just going to give this, let me cancel this, hold on a second. No, actually, okay. My next average in is at 69er, right in here ahead of 70. So we'll see. If we take out 82, then we're gone. Maybe we'll up this. Let's it's just a little too strong for me right now. Let's put the offer now around 75. You know, the idea was always to average into this play, up into VWAP if it didn't work. So now right here, the market is taking out that 50 period, now going back up right here, back up to the upside. So this WFC needs a little bit of work. We'll take one here at 65, just because we got to take advantage of this move up and get shorter. And then we'll put on, you'll see. You'll see, by the time it gets to 75, my average price will probably be around 70. Those are the kind of size we're using. So let's wait to see if we're able to do that. We'll do it. Let's put on another one right here and then wait for 75 to come through.
So two things. One, while we were talking, the breakdown in, DWAC broke down below VWAP. So I entered the short. I want to give this at least back to this 24 area, but I don't like even dollar stops on DWAC. Actually, I'm looking for another fail. When it does this kind of a move, I'm usually looking for it to just continue to capitulate. We've seen DWAC do that in the past. So I want to give it past that 24. And if it does a failed break, I want to add to the position. And then while that was happening, I was about to write off the number of things that were going against the Microsoft trade at that moment, because it was also the 4,300 breaking on the ES. But you know, I'm just going to keep doing this. It's easier to, instead of flipping to the futures, just to show you guys. That's 4,300 holding on the ES. The NASDAQ then held that 14,000 level. I'm talking about the minis in both cases. So obviously that meant that Microsoft went up. I said the first out would be 95s. We just got that, so we'll hit this one. I don't usually trade softy. It just happened to be at that quadruple bottom. Like the first thing I pulled up that had a bottom support that was an equity that should follow the market, or lead it in some directions at that 14,000 level, and we took softy. If it gets back up to 96, I'm not even thinking it has to be VWAP here. Ever since yesterday, I just feel the market's a little bit weaker. But Brendan has an update here, and I think it'll answer a question in the chat.
Somebody was asking about Yandex there on that halt. There's still a number of symbols that are not tradable when it comes to Russian listed companies in the U.S. This was the note from yesterday that the NASDAQ actually posted. If we could show that, thank you. NYSE NASDAQ halts trading in stocks, Russian-based companies. If you scroll down to the bottom here, this was the actual quote from them. It says, "We are closely watching the situation in Ukraine and are committed to protecting market stability and providing certainty to our clients and the broader industry." So I also saw another quote that said basically, "until further notice," but that was the official release from the NASDAQ and the NYSE yesterday on those symbols, guys. So I don't think it's going to be anytime soon that they get resumed.
There you go, and that's the thing.
This market is.
You're in the short, so it's probably going to work out for you in that case. But obviously, you know, that's a tricky situation to be in. So I'm glad Brendan had the news there. I didn't know. I literally just put in the chat and said, "Brendan, do we have any idea what's going on here?" Because I wanted to make sure we got an answer. The Greek New York. He's like, "Drinks on me." Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Yeah, we'll get Pratt hooked up with some oysters and then some beverages as well. We'll enjoy that game. And thank you. We're kidding, of course, about New York. We're not kidding about the weather. But yeah, come by, like Sean said. This market really starting to go, man. Maybe I should have held through VWAP. But anyways, I just got out of Microsoft. These spikes are getting crazy. So it comes all the way down 94s. This is as much about the futures as anything else. So this time I will slide over and just show you. That's the bounce that we just put in the NASDAQ. And of course, the same thing in the ES off of those lows. The mini's looking relatively strong there. And that's great. I mean, we're still going to be down 1% overall. But that's a strong power move that just got put in the overall market, rejecting the break of both of those key levels. So 14,000 holding, 4,300 holding. Those have been big levels the last little while. You see us run away from that 4,300 several times here in the last couple of sessions in the S&P.
Yeah, like I don't know what just caused that, but we obviously got busted out. So we'll go to the downside here and flush ourselves down the toilet on the WFC trade because it just took off and there's nothing we could do. It takes out that VWAP. Like, look at these futures. Like, we're part of this move straight to the upside. I'm going to try it one more time just because that wick top was 90 there. So it looks like we're getting pretty close to taking that out. So if that gets taken, we just went in again just in case, you know, that move just doesn't last, but it looks like it's going to, so we won't put on a whole hell of a lot of risk here. But if it falls back to the 50 period, we should be able to make it all back, but we got to hold out for that play to happen. And I don't know, man, the market just spiked up like nuts there. We were able to cover our Uber, which is fine. Uber, still a profitable name for us, but yeah, that ripped up huge too, where we went long because we had a stop order, which we should have still held. Uber now taking out those highs as well. So, all right, you got to get long something, which we are, man. We're long SoFi. Like I said, we only have 10% left. We were not going to reload it down here, but the market obviously seems pretty strong. Let's check out Palantir now. That's probably ripping. And again, my most frustrating stock because we're not in it, but I'm happy with the performance today, up 5%, 12. Oh, there it goes. There's WFC. Okay, thank you. All right, WFC comes all the way back down. I said that we would hold this as far as we can, but honestly, I don't want to do that. It's coming back in right now, and we're putting money back in our pocket on this short. So let's wait to see. Like, look what I mean. The futures are not coming back down, and for some reason WFC does. So I don't know, man. That was just maybe a little bit of a BS move there. But let's wait to see. At least we reloaded it, and now we have an opportunity to take some out more on the downside, 72, 73. So we're short now 84, but hey, man, we got blown out, and we won't be able to make it all back. Let's just see if we can piece some back down to the downside here in case this market does eventually turn back around.
You know, the thing about double tops, especially at this time of day, is they're just so enticing, right? And I'm looking, the market's booming here. I did get that re-up, well, not a re-up, but the add on a failed break at 94 in DWAC. So I got 50s as my price now. I'll give it a little bit from here and see if it can't continue its slide. But a firm double top, and from yesterday, I mean double top, at 43.40. So it's testing it right now. We did get here, maybe get like 5 or a couple of cents above that price. I'm looking 43.50 because that's the more round number here. And if we make any kind of a curl off that level, you had a big strong move in the market. A firm has been super strong all day today, bouncing off of 40 even. But if we do reverse here, still a down day overall. You've got a double top that's just, it's too juicy. If it makes a break, fair enough, I know it can squeeze. But if there's any kind of a curl, I want to be in the short here off that high and then try to take advantage of it. You're just going to go with the overall trend here. And by the way, Lucid, we got the 85 short. It broke 25, so we lose like 17 cents on Lucid, unfortunately there. And that's with the pop in the market, right? Like, so fortunately, it was a tight stop because Lucid did go more than just 15 cents. Did make the break when we had that spike in the market, but we had to stop at 25 even. I'm now looking to see if a firm fails at 43.50, which it might not do. It might just blow right through the level. But if it does start to turn around, I want to see if I can grab the short. It seems like it's entirely too strong. This market trying to put another rally into the close again.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to check out crypto right here as crypto's starting to go a little bit. You could see in the last hour some movement, but not much. But it's a 24-hour moves. Bitcoin 43.8 right now. Ethereum trying to see about $3,000. I don't know if we broke that or not today. We'll check out a chart later. Avalanche. Someone said Polkadot in Ukraine. I don't know if there's anything there. That's only up 5% again. Shiba Inu 2.7 now. I remember that was like 5 something. That's been chopped in half, but as has many of these coins. That's just your quick, literally quick crypto minute right there. Yeah, right now we're holding on to the SoFi long. I feel like this is a decent spot to get another piece out, so let's do it as I watch WFC come down. And it's amazing because we could have actually made it all back, and I just, like I said, we'll take a piece out on SoFi at 51, but WFC comes back down now, and we just got filled there at 68 back down there. So yeah, we did reshort it. We did get blown out because, again, we only had about 50%, about 45% or so of the shares we had, we reloaded right there. So it's not going to be a profitable trade. If we took this down here, yeah, then much different situation. But there it goes. We just got, sorry, I realized we were on SoFi there. We just got 51s there on SoFi. So not bad. As the market comes back in, though, like I said, I'm not sure SoFi is going to be this strong anymore. So let's just start emptying it out. Remember, we're long down here. And then WFC, 16 cents in the money, starting to make lower lows now not lower lows, sorry, back down to the 50 period. Ooh, we got that fill. We just got a 65. Okay, so the next bid I have is actually down here at 50. So let's see if it comes back down. That's the 50 period right there at 62. Let's put another bid like 58, and then we'll go to 50. So let's put a bid at 58 in case it does crack to the downside. But yeah, good thing we did reload this on SoFi, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be able to reload 94s on Microsoft. I mean, the market's trying to come back in here. If it does, I may take another leg because if we hold those key levels, I'll go back to the well. I did get a firm firm, like I said, if it goes to 43.5, puts a bit of a curl in, it did, ended up getting 36s. Would have been nice to get 40s, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. When you wait for it to turn instead of just getting in front of the level, well, guess what? You're not going to get the greatest price in the world. Someone that just sat on the offer at 49, they're short at 49. I waited for some confirmation that there was going to be a turn, and there's a firm. I'm on the bid in front of 43, and then next leg down to 42.5. I don't need a VWAP or trace. It's relatively strong. It's positive on the day. It's breaking out on every, sort of every time frame you can imagine. The 15-minute probably the most clear. You get the wick bottom. It then broke out at 40. Whoops, that went too far. It broke out at 40, and now you're getting a consolidation at that high of the day. So if it's a retrace, then I'm going to try to be conservative with it and bank the profit on the way back in. DWAC, like I said, I would add to it. 15 is not going to do you justice. I would add to it if it failed a 94 break. It did. It then struggled at VWAP. Somebody's sitting on the bid here at 93.50, so I decided to trim a third, and I might rinse and repeat up at 94. If they clear this buyer, which might be Fugaze now that I look at it, then likely to get back down. And I am next on the bid $1 lower from here. So looking to see if there's a bit of a rug pull. But if we're going to be range bound, which is possible because that's what it was doing on the way down around 93.50, then I'll try to scalp the wins as they go. I just got that affirmed, so there we go. Sometimes you go back to the well, find a top, look for it, and what I love about that setup is you had the multi-day high was 43.40, but it broke that high, and anyone just putting a stop at the high of the day, ignoring the fact that 50, the nice round number, was looming higher, yeah, well, guess what? If it doesn't go through 50, people are like, oh, poop. It just, I almost said pooper snickles. Oh, God. Anyways, it doesn't make that breakout. You get stopped at a random price because it's a line on a chart, when clearly most people are going to be looking at that even number, 43.50. It's gorgeous when it makes that kind of a play because you have longs that stopped at the high of the day. You have shorts that have gotten out to relieve some of the pressure, and then they start selling off here. And on top of that, you had a spike just go up in the futures, and we reverse off the high. So you put it all together, and it's a trade that risks only about 20 cents, depending on slippage, and then your reward, even if it doesn't get to VWAP, can be as much as 70 or 80 pennies. We'll see if we can actually get the latter, but either way, a firm for now, a decent trade. Going to be looking back at Softy. I don't think 94s is going to be in play here. Even with the market pulling back, it certainly looks stronger than that at this point. It's actually checking up at 95. If it holds a higher low, I mean, Microsoft, and we get above VWAP here, man, and this could really lead the market. And we could break at 97, break above VWAP. It's the kind of move that could drag the market up. I'm kind of curious what Apple is doing in the same regard. So I'm going to tempt fate by trying to call it up in real time here. Yeah, I mean, Apple's putting in the similar kind of move. Like, it's breaking a little bit off the lows. If it holds a higher low and then can take out, like, this 164.5, like, you get a couple of these things happening at the same time, and we could be on the run trying to give this back up or trying to game this move back to the upside. Both Apple and Microsoft very barely are leading the market. They're both down about 1%. The NASDAQ's down 1.2, and the ES is down 1.2 as well. So they're just slightly ahead of the market, which is why I think they have a chance to lead.
Okay. Yeah, basically, I'm just looking here. I was thinking that we got a little bit too greedy here on WFC, but it seems like we're okay right now. WFC to the upside, now downside. So I thought, like, when this market started to go back up, I was like, uh-oh, are we respecting that 50 period or not? Because that came right down to 50.60 there. Now, okay, here we go. We do have a bid at 60. Hopefully we can get filled on that bid. There it is. And then now we have another bid at 56. I'm going to cancel that. Maybe we, I was going to say, maybe we have this if it wants to break. But hey, these are 20+ penny winners now on WFC. Like, that's why I'm really focused here. You can see what I'm trying to do, trying to be as focused as I can on this trade, bringing this rate back down to the downside. Meanwhile, we still have SoFi on board, and people saying, what do we think about SoFi earnings? Look, I mean, all I can really do is have a look and see, like, where are we as far as everything is concerned on a daily chart, right? Because we can't sit here and, like, predict that this stock is going to go, upside, downside, what exactly it wants to do, right? So SoFi, if we look at a 20-minute chart, been pretty negative, but the last couple days, we've definitely bounced off $10. Like, we'll wait to see. I know there's some student loan. Obviously, they're in the student loan game. Biden's going to speak tonight. I don't think he's going to speak about loans, but that's been on the mind, I know, of the current administration as well. Okay, WFC. Meanwhile, Bang on WFC, dropping down a little bit of cash for this trade as it looks like it wants to work. So WFC right now, some nice little downside pressure. Wow, I said if it comes all the way back here, then we'd be flat on WFC. But unfortunately, we emptied out the GAT a little bit too early there, but now WFC back down to the downside. So yeah, let's get greedy, boys and girls. Let's wait for 50 1/4, Brendo. What's up?
Just looking at the U.S. 10-year, a couple of things here, guys. 10-year coming off very, very sharply. Today, we're back to January levels again, all the way back to 1.7 on the U.S. 10-year. So a couple of day move to the downside with these geopolitical headlines still running the market overall. Workhorse as well, if you remember, we talked about it briefly in the pre-market. Yeah, 17% on the day, just making a day high there on decent volume for Workhorse.
Like we were talking about Workhorse in the context of like Lordstown making the big moves, and how like there's just a few names that have been completely forgotten. And then lo and behold, really Workhorse is breaking out today of all day? Of course, because obviously. But when you make bottoms like this, like sometimes it goes down so far, it's just the path of least resistance can end up being to the upside. That's probably the best way to put it there without saying something mean. And that's what I think is happening here in Workhorse. You got a double bottom. Lordstown got destroyed yesterday, and it just might have gone too far. It can only go up, and that's what I think is happening. But yeah, nice little. These technical breaks are actually really good. 350 there. I love the fact that it's starting to go parabolic through a key level on the daily, right at the 50 period at 370, because at least if I try to go counter trend, I know exactly what I'm looking for. You have this level, which is trying to break at 360 right now. It's putting a breakthrough as we speak, going parabolic through it. If it can't make the next break through that 50 period, then a retracement through 60 can be where it has a bit of a capitulation. So I know at least what I'm looking for because I don't have the long here, and I don't want to be chasing it. Sorry, Lordstown, I'm not going to do it. Thank you very much, Affirm. It's been a couple of days, but we're back to doing what we do best, which is being bald apparently and shorting Affirm. We got that rollover trade. We just took it out in front of 42.50. I said that's the level I wanted. It's about $1 worth of a move, but we only get 80 cents because on the last part, because we didn't actually grab it at 43.50, and we ended up with 43.36. So we got the rollover there. DWAC is still trying to go. Like I said, it's barcoding. I thought if it barcoded here, maybe it could be a reload around 94. That hasn't happened, but I just feel after that one event and then kind of pulling right back in to support at 93.50. The second that support break, I wanted to initiate a short and stay short until it can break and hold above 94. So I got to stop in case it breaks higher. Otherwise, I might be holding this till the close. We've seen in the past when it's done this, it'll just be sort of lingering along and then do one of those like death candles in the afternoon. It did this at about 3:30 a couple of weeks, or just actually a week ago. It was just sort of lingering along, tried to break the high late, and then just did a capitulation. We've seen it before in DWAC. Let's see if it can do it again. But if it breaks that 94 by about 25 pennies, I'll just be out.
So we're waiting here for AMD. We'll just take the short rate now. I mean, I don't know. The market's below. I think this is worth tasting here for AMD just to see where we go. So we'll short this number here. It is right ahead of the 50 period, which is there. We'll wait for 114.50 to break before getting out. So we're short. What are we short here? We're short 25. So if we can get like a 10 bid or something like that, we'll take a little bit out there because, again, our out's going to be about 50. There it is. So we'll ring the register on that one quickly. And then we'll take one more bid if it comes down to O's, which there it is again. Wow. Man, why is your boy not trading short like literally all of the time? Because this seems to be what wins all of the time, these shorts. So, I mean, a nice little move back down here. So who knows? But there it goes. Now we're crashing to the low side. Now we have WFC on short side. Our SoFi I don't even care about. We only have now 6-7% left on our SoFi trade. But now we're starting to go back down to the downside right here. So let's see how far this goes. And now we have a nice win. We just put that on, man. That's 25. It's now 30 cents in the money. It's already more aggressive in the money than our stop order would have been anyways. So a nice little run down here. And look at WFC also starting to make new lows, not new lows, I keep saying that, down to 45 again as we took out this period. Cannot believe that one little bump up. Like, oh, that's upsetting because, again, we were averaged into that. If that just doesn't happen, wow. But it did, so let's do the trades that we have. And there goes WFC. And by the way, AMD right now as well. Nice little downside mover here.
Yeah, like it's just the shorts. Unfortunately, there was that nice long opportunity when we held 14,000 and 4,300. So like Softy got a bounce there. You saw spikes across the board, and then we're right back going to the well to the short side. I'm going to hold on to DWAC obviously, as that one continues to fall. Even Lucid, right? Like that's the one that in front of that 25 level, the tight stop, and then it rolls right back over. So what looked to be relatively strong is coming right back in here. I mean, like 2 minutes ago, I was like, okay, well, DWAC's not really going. Let's get a few more shares, affirm at that high of the day. Microsoft's not going to give you 294 again. The market was bouncing off those key levels. We're right back at 4,300 on the ES. We're right back at 14,000 on the NASDAQ. And we're right back at 94 on Microsoft. So I'm going to tempt fate. It worked last time. Oh, I'm going to cross the spread there. Anyways,
No man can cross it.
No man can cross it.
No man can cross it.
Only fishermen or fisherwoman.
Or fisherwoman.
You guys, if you don't know if you don't know, after the show was done, you can always check it. You can check that one out. It is one of the most hilarious videos on YouTube in my estimation, but I am West Indian, or I have West Indian blood at least, I should say. So I crossed the spread because I hate sitting on the bid, and I was just at like 294.25, and it wouldn't go down to 294.25, so I just actually bought 30s. But that low on Microsoft is right back. It looks weaker this time, I'm not going to lie. My price is a little bit better. And really, I'm at this point risking about 35 cents plus slippage to see if we can do the same move. Only, I'll be even more aggressive taking this out. Like, forget about trying to get 95s and 96s. I'll probably still try to get close to 95s, but I don't even think 96s are coming back in. That's the kind of reverse that makes you think this market isn't nearly as strong as you want it to be. You got a good break at a key level, and then minutes later, you're right back to it. Thankfully, I do have some shorts, but this is just too good of a level not to play. So 1-to-1's 30 pennies. That's the first profit target for me here on Microsoft.
All right. We did. I was going to say, I don't know if we got it, but we did. We got a 47 bid there. We're pretty light now on this trade. So we're pretty light on the trade for WFC right now, but a nice move down. Great movement to the downside. We are still short our AMD, and that's starting to pump lower, lower, lower. Let's see if we take out day's low, 113.50. We almost have that bid. We got a 76 bid. We'll put a bid at 50 and see if it goes lower, but Brendan's got something. What's up?
Forge, tiny little AI-based e-commerce platform, FORG in New York, just popping up here on decent volume, went 17 to 17 and a half. This is a very small float. I was just noticing 4 million shares on the float for FORG. I also saw that CYRN, another low float stock, just popping up.
That's more like it, Brendan. Because last time you came, like I just got, you talked about, it was Lordstown. I got stopped out like right as you mentioned it. But you talk about something else there, and Microsoft goes. So I mean, I'm going to be happy every single time we come back and we actually get a winner. Like I said, I don't think that this is going to be as strong of a bounce. Like the first time off 94 was great. The second time I think is going to be more shallow. So I got some out. 1-to-1 was 30 cents. And then I think maybe if we can get anything past 95, maybe 95 half, and we can still get a buck on the last part of that trade. But at least it now can't lose. Because if it breaks the bottom, then it'll be essentially a flat trade if it breaks the bottom at this point. But while that's happening, and we said it was getting weak here, I mean, DWAC came right down to 92.90, and I'm on the bid at 92, like 80, and of course it's resisting. But not a capitulation candle, but anyways, a pretty strong downward move as everything seems to be really falling here. So if you got a good level that you can play off of for the long, that's fine. We can be scalping the long. But if I'm holding something into the close, or at least into the imbalances, which are due in 25 minutes, I think it just has to be the short the way this market is reacting. If we bounce off those key levels, and then retake them, like rug pull at 330 into imbalances, oh man, I hope they don't come to the sell side, because this might be that day where we don't get it back. The NASDAQ managed to get green yesterday. It really doesn't look like it's going to happen at all today.
Oh, we are just bidding 60s here. I'm just patiently waiting for AMD reports. We'll have a look at that. Okay, come on. We were just waiting at 60s. Oh, it just touched 61. I'm not going to change it. Let's see if we get a 60 bid here on AMD as the future's trying to bounce a little bit. If I miss this bid, like I only have 30% left of this trade, but I mean the majority of it came out when we were going crazy there in the 70s. So that was a good trade right here. These two bids. So one was 82, one was 78, one was 76. I don't know why we just rapidly fired them out there. I don't know what I was doing. But hopefully it comes back down in the downside, and then we'll get another fill. And honestly, man, this has just rocketed up the board again here for me net-wise on AMD. Come on, just give me just so I can show you guys that I'm actually bidding 60. Like sometimes I feel that I'm lying to myself. It's like, am I really bidding those levels? There it is. So there's the fill right there. You can see I didn't even put any orders out. Comes out, hits the 60. So we're gonna go hell yeah for that one. And we'll do another little floss move here as AMD. Hey, it's a 70-cent winner. We'll put that in our cap. We just put that on. And again, looking for a weak name, like why AMD is down 8% today. I mean, I know there's reasons, but I'm just like talking to myself more. It's like crazy how much this thing is down. The banks did make, or the banca, WFC that I'm trading, has made a move back up, which is kind of strange because the market is trying to take out lows now, bouncing around that 14,000 one more time. So just based on that, I already have AMD short, so and SoFi long. And by the way, we took another out on SoFi right here when it popped back up. We now have 3% on of this trade. So SoFi right now, remember I said we're not going to reload it, and we're not. The market's come down. We're taking out 14,000. I just feel like if the market tanks, I don't want to be part of SoFi. So a break of 1130, we're gone out of this one. But again, a very small position for me on SoFi. The only thing we really got to work for now is WFC, because I'm pretty sure AMD will take care of itself. What else? Like what else is reporting? Oh, Roblox is down to 50. So that's something interesting right there. Roblox down to $50. It was rocking earlier today, 52.50. Okay, straight to the downside. This might be something to look at if it gets down to 50. So let's keep Roblox on our mind if it gets down to $50, which is the bottom there at 12 o'clock today.
Well, I know the truthers probably won't love it, but DWAC starting to come back in here. I know the State of the Union, maybe that's the reason it got that volume spike up, but it was sold off. To put it into context, like I'm not ripping on the trend here. It's been ridiculously strong, but you can see the wedge forming, and then it put that wick top in. So it's an obvious sort of setup there. Once it failed at 96, which is obvious at the 15-minute. I just got the next leg out, short of that, in front of that 93 level. Finally got that bid. That's working. Softy about to break the low of the day. So looks like we'll be holding on to the DWAC short, and maybe should have held on to the Affirm. Well, not maybe. Affirm is going to give it all the way back into VWAP here, so the full retrace was worth it. But remember, at the time, this was one of the more relatively strong names that I was watching, so I wanted to be at least conservative with that short trade at the top. A winner's a winner. Obviously, it would have given you a little bit more. And even Tesla starting to fall off here. That's in negative territory. We just broke 14 again. The ES is trying to hold up. And someone asked why. My theory on why AMD is doing so bad, you just blame Ambarella, right? Like Ambarella's down 31% today, and if you look at the overall chip space, like I know they're a smaller player, but that came a little bit out of left field. How badly they got destroyed and beaten up on the earnings. I mean, okay, I get it. It wasn't roses, but I don't think many people were thinking this was going to be down that 31%, and that's why the entire space is getting absolutely crushed here today and leading the weakness in tech. It's because of Ambarella. Has me worried about Marvell, later on this week. Market's starting to come in. Softy's out, and DWAC now about $1.25 in the money. Hold on to your shorts. It's one of those days.
See ya.
Wow.
AMD now $1.10 in the money and still going to the downside here. We just put this trade on, and it's too bad our Uber got out. I'm sure Uber danced around there. I'm sure that's low, and it is, as Uber continues its downward move. And WFC, we still have a piece on as it's going to the downside. Yeah, buddy, let's go. The market going to the downside right now, and we're getting excited. Obviously, here we go to the downside as we're getting ready to rock and roll. President Biden tonight at, what was it, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something like that. He's coming through. It's the State of the Union. We'll see what they have to talk about. Apple has stopped selling all equipment online store in Russia. Okay, so, you know, I always got nervous whenever we see some Apple headlines coming through, especially at this time of day. So, but it's a nothing burger right there for Apple. It's just on Russia, I guess. So nothing there. AMC tonight, Salesforce tonight, SoFi, Plug. Let's check out AMC quickly here as we go down to 18 bucks. And again, my worst trade I have one negative name today. Well, actually, you can add Microsoft to that. That's a small negative name. And then WFC, you just saw me put that on. But AMC today, the real trade that I'm negative. We were long. We thought AMC had a chance to go today, but obviously the market now at day's low, and here goes AMC back down to the downside. Look, for earnings, you guys know earnings don't matter really that much. I mean, we did have a big movie release. There was Spider-Man. I think that's crushing it. I was at the theater on the weekend as well.
What'd you see?
Oh, that's what it was. It's called The Lion and the Wolf, or The Wolf and the Lion. It's not out yet. You know, sneak preview. You know how I do. But anyways, that's come out in. It's a great movie, by the way. Take your kids. I think it's The Lion and the Wolf, The Wolf and the Lion.
It's this.
Yeah, it's a great.
The Wolf and the Lion.
It's filmed in Quebec, and it's actually about. Who cares? But it's a kids movie and it's great. So that's how we do. But AMC, I think, has a great opportunity to do something here. So we'll see. The bottom 14, we can't even test that tomorrow. No idea. But I feel like AMC, just with like the volume that's come through, it's only 33 million. So I'm not sure. You know, we've seen AMC obviously during the crazy times do in the hundreds and hundreds of millions of shares. But it's kind of been down the last couple of days. You guys can't see that. Hold on a second. It's kind of been down the last couple of days here, volume. So I don't really know if there's a lot of ideas here where earnings are going to go, but it is below the 50 period. So I'm not going to make a call, but definitely you guys know that AMC earnings is going to be on the board tomorrow. Let's maybe take a look at this if it cracks 18 to the downside right now with only 17 minutes left till imbalances, 27 minutes left until the end of the market, and then about an hour 27 left until I got a drink in me.
And oysters too, man. Let's not forget about that. And you know what? I'm going to go with some chowder because
I want to go with the chowder, and I also want to go with scallops.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I'm not playing. You know.
Look, we're not going to mess around.
Brad, have you had scallops before?
Oh my goodness.
No.
Rodney's is the
out
joint.
Here. Just
you
honestly,
never had scallops?
Just close my account.
We're gonna hook you up, Pratt. Pratt doesn't eat seafood. We're gonna hook him up, man. It's gonna be fantastic. We'll have a heck of a lot of fun. But it's a fun show. And by the way, I told you guys Microsoft broke that 294. I'll show it to you. It's gonna show up as purple because you know it got quarter short. I wish I'd actually had that short. That was just me getting out of the long, right? Like I'm not gonna tell you that I was short there. It did end up going down to 293. So that would have actually given a clean dollar. That stop out sometimes is a good reverse. The floor breaks. We're right back to 94s. It's that downside. I got the DWAC short, which I do like. Firm all the way down to 42. That got to VWAP as well. This market is just struggling. It has tried to get back to key levels. Talking about that 4,300 on the ES, and they tried to just get back to 14,000 on the NQs. But both these looking very, very weak. I was talking Tesla a little bit earlier, but forget about that. I want to go over to something that, if you're looking for relative strength, it has been that all day long. Target, excuse that wick, but even it's sort of trending back down towards that low. It's managed to hold up 10% all day long, which in the midst of this market I think is impressive. But even that might give up the ghost in the next 10, 15 minutes when the imbalances come out here. This market going to start selling off pretty heavily. And if you're still tracking Mullen, well, you know, it's back below $1. So the rug pull continues on MULN. I stopped trading it when it got a little bit nasty around that dollar level on the way back. I didn't want to give back today completely on Mullen. But it looks like it is still mostly a sell on this name.
Okay, so apparently, I guess, from some website, early mock imbalance is a buy side. So we'll wait to see if that's coming through on that one. But there's a nice little out for us. So we'll just drop down some cash, as you know, we wished it had still kept falling to the downside, but now AMD is climbing back upside. We're just going to wait for this one. We don't have anything to do on this, so we'll wait for AMD to come back down. We just got that fill right here. Like that was a, hold on a second, move this volume back down, as it doesn't matter that much on the minute chart. Actually, let me just fix this a little bit there. We got one, you saw that, Phil, man, when we were going cha-ching all the way to the downside there, 113.20 we just got. That was $1, basically $1. 114.26 is where we're short, or are we? Whatever, 25. And then there it is right there, out at 19, so more than $1 there. Yeah, SoFi's flat and not doing anything, so we're just like ho-humming that trade right now. And then honestly, other than that, our new core has stayed up there pretty much today. It did make a brand new 52-week high, so shout out to Austin if you're here as well. I am debating getting out of some of this new core, but I don't know, man. It's at 136, just ticked that high. We're long. This is a 20-minute chart, so it's not going to show it. We're long 95. It was actually, it's not going to, there, because hopefully it'll load now. We're long 95s based on some bottom and just trying to diversify our portfolio. And we went into some metal, and it was more because of the Build Back Better plan, which is that even happening? Like, I don't even know if that's on, or
doesn't look like.
I think it was a lower. I think they're just lowering it, like bringing it down there, the Build Back Better plan. But I think it was supposed to be, what, 6 trillion? Maybe now it's 3, I don't know. But anyways, 90, is it trillion or billion?
I think
all these numbers
I think it's in the billions now. If they get it done, I think it's in the billions.
Yeah, the debt is in the trillions, I guess. But here it is right here, $95. A couple reloads on this name brought it all the way back up. So like, I'm debating cashing out of a little bit of this, but I just want to check back on it. It's not really a day trading name. The spread is quite large here, but Nucor, a nice move just recently, because I noticed it was a little bit in trouble today. It's just, yeah, back to 128. So that was, look at this, but nice little backside move here, back up to 131. So steel names, X is another one. United Steel has been working, and then FCX, Freeport McMoran, has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, this name, I believe, was $2 or $3 back in COVID time. So this is going to be one of the bigger winners from COVID. But FCX definitely making money now as well, as my chart is still on Nucor. But there's FCX, and you could see the moves. It was just $36 back end of January, beginning of February, now touching 50 today. So FCX winners unite as well.
Yeah, someone had the question about the other day. It was asking about Cliff, and it was not a double top, but it was right at that 200 period, and it had just made a top at 2150. It's since made a breakout of that level, so it looks like it's churning back towards 24, 25. I'd have some caution. If this gets back to the highs, you can see when it got up to 2650 before is how heavily it's sold off. But it always has a short interest, so I think that's part of the reason why it shows some relative strength. The market, I don't know, the ES is holding 4,300. It's like that support has turned into resistance. So I just feel like until 350, if I have a short, and I do, I'm going to hang on to it until 350 when it comes in.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Somebody has something right now. Somebody has some food.
Why would you eat anyway?
Who is it? Brandon, what do you have? Okay.
I smell that, man.
Somebody, I'm smelling something. It's either fries
Tony?
or I don't know, probably Tony. Oh, it's probably Tony. Yeah, what's up, Tony? Who has it, Brandon? Go find that out for us. It doesn't matter. We're just playing around. Okay, but I thought.
I didn't really smell it, and then you said it. It's like now it's all I can.
Of course, I looked at you first, Pratt. I mean, you're the one sitting there with the super chickens half the time. Anyways, WFC guys, we're just playing around. It's a disco ball kind of day right now for WFC shareholders to the downside. The bank has not been great today. All these bank trades, man. JP Morgan, WFC. I'm finna buy some more. Morgan Stanley coming up, man, because honestly,
remember the other day I was
I'm
saying,
not in it.
Remember the other day I said I'm going to buy at 80, and you were like, is it going to go to 80? I'm like, look at the daily. Look at the daily chart of those banks.
You're not wrong, man.
And if Citigroup makes that break, wait around to get like a 50 print on Citigroup, because if it breaks 58.50 or is it 57.50, there's just room. And I just picked up some of the Toronto banks. I'm buying those bad boys on the way down, TD specifically. They just made a purchase, so there's another buying chance below $100. They're going to start to come in. I still like them for the year. If you believe in at least the economy, and don't think it's going to be all 100% doom and gloom, then while the panic is going on, this can be an opportunity to grab back into those. Only out of morbid curiosity, I keep coming back to the RSX. I've said every single time I pull this thing up that if you're going to trade with absolute caution. It's down another 19%. If you've been just fading this the last few days, that there hasn't been a better trade. Again, I understand like a lot of the names in here, some of them are halted, and it's crazy price action, but it tried to break $10 and then just has been flushing all day today. It's at the lows and looking like it's only going in one direction. I might reload if it's before 350 in DWAC, but I don't want to do that too close to the imbalances coming out. I usually like to think about wrapping up the trades as opposed to adding to them, but it's trying to bounce back to VWAP. If I can get close to 94s, that'd be the reload. But we're running out of time for that to happen with only 20 minutes left in the day.
Yeah, I'm just, thanks for all the love there on the chat. We're trying to have some fun here in the late day. So, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know. We can't really drink while trading. That's the problem. And then imagine how hilarious that would be, although I may fall asleep. Okay, so let's just go here. Palantir, I see what you're saying, Henry. Yeah, it's been crashing down, man. I mean, that's the problem. We break that 50-period, trend changes. Palantir back down to the downside, probably similar to a DKNG. Look, we're riding everything, man. AMD is 70 cents in the money. WFC is 40 cents in the money. DraftKings, another name that probably got hit. Yeah, there it is. There goes DraftKings. Also to the downside. They're breaking its high of the day, 24, back down to 23 and change. I just want to check back on WFC. Look at that out, man. We just took that out at 38. Like, we were going to wait for lower, but honestly, these short, unfortunately, we did get blown out there. But look at that downside move down to 38. So that was a good move there. Taking out short 84, out 38. 45 cents or so on that move. Crypto's trying to pop as well right now. So maybe we have to look back at Coinbase, which was the trade of the day. It's NASDAQ? Yes. Okay, so 197. Yeah, good bottoms there on Coinbase, man. 190. And we actually, I'm going to relook at this. And I should have used, so my disappointing trade of the day should have also have been my trade of the day. I'll put this in the chat. Let's, by the way, hit the like button right now. And I'm just going to copy this and put it in the chat so you guys can see it for yourself. Hey, maybe I didn't write this down, right? Maybe we're living in this back to the future business. But look at this. Coin, why not? Like, right? Nice base at 190. Why not start the long at 191? Okay, so let's see. I mean, that's just an idea, right? I mean, that can't be that super solid, right? Let's start it at 191, and the bottom should be 190. The bottom of Coinbase today is 189.26. So, I mean, there it is right there. Nice little $10 move from the downside. And unfortunately, the trade of the day is the short up here for $5 or $6 to the downside. So there it is. But we did talk about that level right there, 190 on Coinbase. Let's see if we can respect that tomorrow. It's too late to make a trade on this name now, but there it is, man. Another one right here for the sticky note today, the win on that. But what can we do? We don't have it, so it's irrelevant. We can write numbers in the sky all we want, but you should trade them. Lucid, though, my #1 stock, followed by Coinbase, the top two stocks net-wise for you here on the show today.
I said I'd reload DWAC. It got to VWAP, couldn't go any further. I actually put a wick top through 93.50, so I jumped right back into the trade. I'm going to get back on the bid around 93s just because, it's like 5 minutes to imbalances, right? So you're running out of time. That means you have to capitalize on the trades. If either you play off the key levels and play momentum, but also sometimes you just have to play off the time, and the clock is running out on the day for us. So I'm going to get on the bid a little bit tighter, and I'm going to also back away from 92s. I don't think there's a decent chance that we'll get that anymore. It can still give a buck from here, but the notion that it's going to give you a $2 move with time running out, I don't think that's going to be the case. So I'll tighten the stop because I don't want it going all the way back into 94. But DWAC might be the last one. We'll see what happens with AMC. We'll see what, it's not AMD. With a firm, if that makes another pump to the upside, I do like those tops. And of course, we'll check back in on Softy, but just not that there's a trade in Microsoft, but there was a point where the market looked like it was going to rally, and now that same support level and the same ones on the futures, they're turning into resistance. So if we can't get back through there, you can tell which way we're headed.
Yeah, and thanks, guys. Yeah, what's up to the Playmaker 88 there? What's up, Michael Irvin? We've gone back and forth with that. Shout out to you. You always hit me up on Instagram as well. What's up, Playmaker? Right there. Yeah, Eggnog Day was awesome on Trader TV Live. Yep, remember that. And then what's up, Guy? Yeah, Sean, Sean is the people's stock clairvoyant. Yeah, I wish I was that clairvoyant, but thank you for the nice comments there. And from one nice comment to another, let's see what Ms. V has to say.
Hey guys, this is a like o'clock, just 15 minutes left until the end of this trading day. And I remind you, please smash the like button. We're super close to get 1,000 likes. Also, we have a super chat. Thank you, Francisco. NVIDIA puts. Can you guys please take a look at NVIDIA for Francisco?
I saw the NVIDIA puts. I'm going to say no. And the reason why is it's just down so far today that honestly, I'm short AMD now, $1 in the money, taking out day's low. AMD still going to the down low. But I mean, look, it's just, honestly, like, I'm going to stumble here because I don't really have too much advice to give anybody here. It's like, is it at a key level for, okay, here, let's zoom this in again because our charts don't, unfortunately, take in consideration the reverse or the split. You know, is it at a key level? Sure, man. I mean, we're right in the middle. We could retest down here 205, and it could test that tomorrow. I mean, you're down 5% today, so I don't see why you can't take puts here. I only said no because I feel like they'd be too expensive. The implied volatility on NVIDIA puts, probably too expensive, but hey, it's a matter of what, and who was that there? I apologize who it was, just so I can use the right name. Oh, there it is, Francisco. So I just honestly, you know, if you think the market's going down, I don't think there's a better name that you could put this on. So I would do NVIDIA or AMD or like what we were talking about, any of the semis. But at the same time, it's just a matter of where do you think this market's going? And I don't mean to say that like, hey, just figure it out. But honestly, like the market could be up 2 or 3% tomorrow. We have no idea what Biden's going to say tonight. We have no idea what Putin's going to do. There was talks today of like actual bombs, like, you know, hitting Kiev or whatever there. And I don't know. I mean, there's been talks about that forever. I feel like if there's severe civilian casualties at some point, that this market might be see you later. Like, I feel like it's been pretty calm so far. And again, like, I hate saying that. I just feel like, you know, it's part of the risk. So for me, I think the implied volatility is too much. But if you're negative on the market, NVIDIA puts should cash, man.
Yeah, I mean, it is breaking down on the 15-minute chart. I'll give it that much. And then let's also keep in mind, in 2 days, we do get Marvell. Another growth name is going to be reporting in the chip space, and that's Marvell. Like this, and if anything even remotely resembling what happened to Ambarella happens to Marvell, you can better believe it's going to drag these names down as well. So that could be your out, right? Like it's, you know, you're going to come in on Thursday, you're going to get those earnings, and then, you know, maybe that's going to be the impetus to be able to get out, because if they have a bad report or the market doesn't like it, then you can see the entire space drag down once again. I think that surprise, like a lot of times when something, you know, doesn't really add up in the market, people get a little bit skittish, and because you'd made such a big bounce in the chip names, that's what it felt like. I know the market's down, but you know the chips, the only explanation I have is what you saw happen over with Ambarella, which was absolutely disgusting. Like I tried a long on AMBA today, just thinking it was going to be able to hold 100, and it just couldn't do it. Like it's going to close on the lows down 32%, which is just getting absolutely woodshedded after breaking just recently below that 200 period moving average. Maybe this settles down in a couple of days and there's a buying opportunity because you've got some support on this name, but it's even got like another $10, I think, before it gets there. So it'll be interesting. Usually don't trade Marvell, but I think on Thursday we're going to be looking at that one with a lot of interest, because I did not think Ambarella would do this, and Marvell, if it does anything close, could be absolute fireworks.
All right, let's see. The futures are about to come out, the imbalances are about to come out very, very soon. I'll take a short here. I don't know if you can see it on the Qs there. We'll go short now, the triple Qs, and just see where we go with this one. Short Qs, 63. The daily chart doesn't matter. Let's just go short right now. We'll show it to you. We are now short 63 on the triple Qs. We'll see if we can get a bid down in the 20s even before this imbalance comes out. That'd be pretty sweet. But it's coming out now in about 40 seconds. So let's get it locked and loaded up here for you. We'll just cancel out the ARCAs. We don't need that. We just need New York and NASDAQ. And then we'll sort it by here, the size. So we can all have a quick look. I know this is one of your favorite times right here, guys, to take a look at these imbalances as they're getting ramped up and ready to go to the downside maybe. Who knows? But we're bidding in the 20s. See if we can't take a smooth 40 cents right now on these names. We're making a lot of money here this afternoon, as WFC, guys, is at 50.20 right now. WFC is now a 65-cent winner for us. AMD is $1.50 now in the money on AMD. As here we go. There it is. Bang for your boy to the downside as the market's going down. Let's see what happens. WFC, I just saw as a big sell. There you go. See ya, WFC. See ya, AMC to the downside. Let's see what this is doing. AMC just cracked 18. Look at the market making new lows, but there it is. And here it goes, man. The Qs down, nicely down in the money. Your boy, the people's trader, one more time. subscribed. Let's floss it off. There's the short in the market as we continue to crash. AMD $1.50 in the money. Q's 50 cents in the money. And how about your boy on WFC right now? Yeah, buddy. A nice little one all the way down to 50 bucks. We called this. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a good trade because we got stopped out, but we did reload. And right now, bye-bye, market falling down a hole. Let's go. AMD, we might as well take this out $1.50.
Worth noting, SoFi with a 2 million sell imbalance going into those earnings, and you can see what happened here. Look, it was mostly sells. I think I saw 1 or 2 bids. They don't really matter, but a lot of sell action in SoFi. It did tick down and make a fresh low, but the market is absolutely plunging here. We'll see what happens with the earnings. Just because it had a sell imbalance doesn't necessarily mean somebody knows something, but the fireworks are definitely on as the market couldn't hold up. Tesla, if you're tracking Tesla, back to 850 or close to 850, got down to 853. They're down 2% or almost 2% as we are flushing going into this close, guys. Not a heck of a lot else that I saw in the imbalance locator. I mean, who cares about AT&T? Intel always pairs off. It's always around $1 million. It's really just about SoFi. It's about those banks all to the south side and AMC that we already mentioned. Alibaba's a buy, but that doesn't really matter, and it's not that big.
All right, so yeah, we all done right now. We just have, actually we still have AMD, but we're not too worried about it. Cha-ching. There's the out right here. Look at WFC, guys. I mean, look at that out. We can't do it much better. Unfortunately, it was just 10% left, but we take that out at 50.15 off of these shorts. So the problem is that one spike that happened there. We respected VWAP and got out, and we should have punched equal shares short, but we didn't. It was only 45% of the shares short because we were nervous about it taking out the high. Obviously, that doesn't happen, but that's fine. We make that money back on WFC, so good trade there. Now let's look at AMD. We did get out of the Qs as well, as that cashed all the way to the downside. So boom, a quick little trade here on the imbalance. Nicely done to the sell side. And then AMD has been a beautiful move down. It was never really in danger. We almost got out here, but it didn't really test the 50 period. Now we're way off, man. This is $1.40 in the money for us right now on AMD. So hey, all is well over here, and I hope your trading is good as well. SoFi, we did get out of that name, a positive name. And again, you can ask me if I'm positive or negative on any stock. I always say that. But okay, so we got out, and then we had an order at 30. Remember, my stop was at 29. So we actually made like 1 or 2 pennies on a bigger order there, but then it crashed down and we got out anyways at 29. So that was always going to be the out. So if you do see a little tick in there, it's because we did go temporarily long on that move. But SoFi right now looks like it wants to just sit here for the rest of the day. Unfortunately, earnings coming. We'll see what happens. I don't think it tests 10 again, but if it does, tomorrow we'll be on this name.
I think we'll be on it almost no matter what. $10. That's only 10% from here. And what has reported that is volatile that hasn't put 10% moves in? So I think that could be in the cards in either direction. I'm going to show you, we talked about volatility. Yeah, it ain't going anywhere, man. Like UVXY hitting the highs. If you track the VIX or UVXY, whatever you happen to use, it's going to be breaking out the top, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise given the pullback that we just saw in the overall market. So, yeah, volatility, it remains here. It felt yesterday in the afternoon, it definitely had that feeling, and we talked about it, that as much as the NASDAQ got green, it did not feel as strong as what we had seen in the past. It just wasn't the same as we had seen running into that close. And then you're seeing, I think, the effects of that here today. I think it's run out of a little bit of steam. It's been a fantastic run. I mean, you got that 13,000 and now that 14,000 being able to hold a couple of days. If we head back to the downside, the key will be, can we hold that low that got put in there? Got about 5 minutes to go here. I'm going to be watching SoFi into the close. It has that sell imbalance. I feel like it's likely to pair off, and it hasn't really fallen that far. So I think the market, or at least the traders going into the close, are waiting around until after the close to get those earnings, because we're not really selling off on that 2 million imbalance sell.
No, we're not, are we? Yeah, so I'm sort of thinking the same thing here as we wait and look at right now, temporarily anyways, what's going on with AMD. So it's not making that move. If we take that piece out, then yeah, we'll just get out of this. We don't have any problems taking this out, so maybe that's what we have to do here, 1150. If it takes out 1160 on AMD, let's just do that. Again, it was only a small piece left. That's 111, 113, sorry, 113.61. We'll take this out if it does take that out itself, and we'll get out. But we did give up some there. there. It's only 10%, but still, we thought that the market did have a pretty good chance to hit to the downside there, but obviously missed out on that opportunity. So let's wait to see if that does come through now. And that is AMD to the downside. We'll wait to see what does happen now. Looks like it still wants to come in. So AMD, I mean, if we're lucky enough to get a bid down here at 112.80, let's just put a bid there. Maybe it crashes. Let's just put it at 113 even, guys. If we're able to get that, we'll take it. But it looks like right now the futures might have just reversed upside. Yeah, so there it is. A nice little move back to the upside here on the futures.
Brendan?
Yeah, big sell imbalance there at 50. Guys, let's have a look at what's coming up after market tonight and before the open tomorrow. As we said, AMC the big one, but here is everything else reporting tonight.
Look, obviously AMC, and we talked about, we mentioned Salesforce. Plug Power had a huge move up 11% yesterday, and I think there's going to be some volatility there. Dutch Brothers, look, that's going to go 10% one way or the other, and probably the only time you'll want to trade it is going to be on those earnings. I've heard good things about them. I've never tried it. Outside of that, PaySafe, I don't know if that'll be a deal. I didn't notice this morning, but Context Logic is in there, so maybe we'll be making some wishes tomorrow. Usually we trade that when it moves around, so I don't know why we didn't notice. I didn't notice it anyways, but Context Logic might be worth it. I think you go back over to understanding how volatile, relatively speaking, the chips were, and if you're not looking at the chip names tomorrow after what happened to these today, I don't know what you're doing. Like I know the Nasdaq's down, but most of the momentum outsized if it wasn't in something like a Lucid. Just look at the charts of AMD, look at the chart of NVIDIA, look at Ambarella. Those are going to move tomorrow as well. And what a reversal in the market. Like, remember we were talking a couple minutes ago, we're talking about 850 on Tesla. It just bounced to 863. So the futures did try to get back up here. We're back at 4,300 on the ES. That's still going to be down. We're not going to get green on the session, but at least we're not closing on the lows. Knock on wood.
Yeah, we're definitely not posting on the low here, but yeah, like you just mentioned there, I'm just trying to set up some orders here. I'm not taking anything into the close. Let's have a quick look at the imbalance locator. We are now flat. We got out of that AMD for a nice one there at the end of the day. RRC, AT&T, SoFi still with a sell, but you can see SoFi's kind of just, let's move this over a little bit so you can see SoFi just sort of just chilling out here right now. We got out of that one. SoFi's a good winner for us today, man. We're positive on SoFi, so we're happy with it, obviously. AMC there with a little buy, still hanging out above 18, man. This is going to be super exciting. Let's hit the like button if you guys can. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I think it's been a super fun day, and I hope you guys have had fun with us here. And we're getting ready for an AMC earnings. Maybe if we have the earnings board, we can throw that up in a second as well, because it's pretty busy, man. And I don't know. Let's check out Lucid. Did Lucid do anything? Okay, actually, Lucid did make a move back up to the upside near 25 and change. Whenever we're ready, we could throw, or go to the... Yeah, there's AMC, there's Salesforce as well. That should be a good name. Basically, the three right in the middle, Nordstrom, obviously as well with Target reporting. That could be a good name for tomorrow. But Plug Power, another name that I know a lot of you are interested in.
Yeah, speaking of Nordstrom's, that's down 5% and getting hurt today as well. But yeah, that should be another. It's had a lot of volatility in it recently and getting crushed today. I didn't see this down that much. About a minute to go here. I know Lucas is going to be setting up to get that bell shot. Yeah. We don't know who's going to be on the bell, so it'll be a surprise.
We better go to the bell.
It's one of two people, obviously, but it's not just a minute to the close. It's also a minute till we get to start thinking about them tasty oysters, brother.
All right, Ms. V is on the bell here as we get ready to rock and roll. It is only now 50 seconds away from the end of the day, which is going to be a pretty volatile one for sure. Lucid is bouncing around 25 bucks, so that's something to look out for. And I hope all you guys had a good, successful trade today. Make sure you check it out on the watch list on tradertv.live and at TraderTV Sean on the sticky note for trade ideas every single morning.
And someone just said there's a huge size buyer on SoFi. It's 100,000 shares at 11.24. Given the size of that imbalance that we saw, which is still 600,000, that's not big size, right? It's 200,000. The sell imbalance is still 600,000 to the sell side. We're about to drop the bell. It is Miss V on the bell here. The market might not get green, but that's quite all right. As Lucas gets the shot going. What a cool look there.
There it is.
6,
yeah, there's
5.
the floor.
Well
right
done.
Wow, Lucas.
4, 3.
I don't know if that's raise worthy or not. I don't know. Hey, 1-0. All right, the market is dunzos, and there it is. and then there's the pan right back. This is all done automated. So a good little move there. Thank you for Lucas. There he goes. A good job there, Lucas.
Well done.
Yeah, someone said, are these new cameras and new lights? Yeah, man, we told you that we are changing up the game here a little bit. So new lights, new cameras. Thank you for the support on the show. Let's go over to Brennan and see what kind of damage was done on the broader markets.
Prad was very excited about that close, apparently. Here we go, guys. Some big red numbers, unfortunately, right across this board. Once again, this afternoon, 1.4% for the S&P 500, 2+ for the Dow, 1.5 for the NASDAQ, 0.75 there for the TSX. I was just checking crude oil here, a mere 10.5% from all-time highs, guys, for crude oil after a 9% rally. You got to go all the way back to July of 2008. Crude got all the way up to 147. Crazy.
Yeah, what an unbelievable run that oil has been on, and like there's no stopping it. The momentum is here to stay. Volatility is here, and at least we get to trade it. That's the key thing, man. Like you can't. I get it. Sometimes the long term doesn't always look pretty on the way back down, but when you're short term trading, these are the markets that you live for. Anyone that lived through 2008 remembers how good day trading was then. So we're excited to be able to do it. SoFi, someone might have fat fingered it based on what I'm seeing here, but I don't think anything's actually out yet. Every day at the close, like one of these things that's printing always has one of these crazy wicks in the aftermarket before earnings are released. I don't think anything's out yet, but it is moving.
Yeah, Robel, what's up? Yeah, no, we did. We've had these cameras, but you know, we're getting more creative.
Yep.
And part of the switch was to give more room here on the stage. So, like I said, because we're on a trading floor, like this used to be a trading floor, and now we've elevated it, got the lights, got the racks up, and everything. So it's a big to do here. I want to give a big thank you, obviously, today to Trader Prad, who you saw, obviously, all afternoon and again on the afternoon show. That afternoon show is nothing without Ms. V, so we got to give, what's up, Lehman Bro? There he is right there.
I don't know what's...
Yeah, Platinum Prad. I think they're called the Blonde Bombshells now.
Yes.
In the morning show. So Prad and Valeria, a big thank you to them. A big thank you, obviously, to Mark, Tim, and Lucas over there. Basically, the tech team. I think we can call them that. That makes sense. And then a big thank you to Brendan, and a big thank you to Greg, I guess. Why not? We don't say enough thank you to Greg all the time. And if you did want to get that resume in, we were blasting that. Valeria also put it in the chat, but we are looking for traders. So look, get ready. Follow me on Twitter at TraderTVSean. I'll tweet out a picture of all of us there tonight at Rodney's. So yeah, hopefully, well, if you're in Toronto, you can come see us there if you want. But we'll be there shortly. Enjoy the game. Tonight I'll be watching it on...
it'll stink, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. We'll be watching that. Hopefully the Raptors can put away the New Jersey Nets. Brooklyn Nets, not the New Jersey Nets there as we catch ourselves. But hey, have a great day. Stay tuned for the trade of the day. It's Coinbase, and we'll catch all of y'all in the morning, 8:30. See you guys.
See you guys.